anything else happens. It was a good one. It was fun.
Yes.
Some volatility spikes, whether it worked or not, we all know it can go either way. Sometimes in your favor, sometimes not. And that's the nature of the beast. More news to come, guys. A lot coming up at potentially 8 o'clock. Let's see if Trump sticks to his word this time or is willing to push back that deadline. AI, XI, he was him today. And guys, let's send it off. Hope everyone has a fantastic Tuesday. It is Taco Tuesday, so make sure you do use my new taco recipe relatively soon. All right?
We'll be back tomorrow.
Be back tomorrow, same time. 11 o'clock, guys.
Yes, sir. Welcome, everybody. And it is Taco Tuesday. We didn't have tacos for lunch, but the market got bids during lunchtime. That's no question asked. And we had a poll this morning how people thought about things, and it was obviously pretty good. I know I was voting for that 1% area. I thought we'd not end up 2% down, but to suspect that we'd get a V-shaped recovery going into deadline, I think that's caught some people off guard. You've got USO, look, oil's not exactly tanking or anything, but it's at the lower end of the range, so markets at the high, oil at the lows. We know this afternoon is going to be big time anticipation with regard to the 8 o'clock deadline, and hopefully we'll get some positive news before then, and it doesn't even come down to 8 o'clock. Better yet, if it happens when the market is open, we'll be here through all of that for you guys. That's what we're all about. But the interesting thing is, like, you saw the bounces that we just had in the market. Obviously, pretty impressive. So you could have bought a lot of dips in there. But you know what, everybody? A stock being up in the morning or gapped up or breaking out at the open doesn't mean it is going to be a good long. There are a lot of names that are up in a given day, but not every single one is good. The question is always, what is actually strong and what isn't? And we're going to answer that right now. No, we're not. Oh. We're going to answer it in a minute because we're working on some things over there at the desk, which is fine. There's a lot of strength out there, and there's a lot of reversions. And something we always try to talk about as traders is trying to separate the wheat from the chaff. And a lot of times, that's going to be where you're confronted with gappers on your watch list, where you have breakouts at the open, and I think we're going to breakouts at the open, and a heck of a lot to parse through. But the important thing is that you have the tools with which to figure out what you should be in and what you shouldn't, especially off the bat at 9:30, where things can always get hectic. I believe now we are ready, and we'll discuss that with you now.
So how do you actually know a stock is strong? Let's refresh that. How do you actually know that your stock, let's rewind. How do you actually know that your stock is strong? All right, here's a perfect example. What you got to do first of all is let's take a look at what happened here today in the pre-market. We're going to use Intel as our first example today. And as you can see, we have a liftoff, and it's news-based. So that's good. We know we got a positive story. We've got a catalyst. It's Intel, and there's the move higher. So here's the pre-market. Here's the move higher. We're talking about 9 o'clock. Here's the NASDAQ, okay? What was happening today? Why we put these ellipses up here? This is the opening print area. So that's the opening print right here for the NASDAQ. This is the opening print for Intel. All right, you can see what winds up happening. It's a complete flush down with the market. And look what Intel winds up doing. Here's the opening print, right? A little bit back and forth, then a flush back in. This is Intel, a little bit of back and forth, and a move directly up. It's a continuation play. This is how you know your stock is strong. It's not just reacting to this move. It's coming back in and having a second leg higher. But that's not the only key point. Look at this. This is the pre-market area. So we've marked down here the pre-market lows. What happens is we get a hold, a bounce back, and then a flush. Look what happens on Intel. This is the same time frame. Intel, here's the pre-market levels, right, that we've made. Here it comes back in. Here's a hold, but where's the flush? There is no flush. What happens is it then reacts and starts going back to the upside. This is part of the reason and how you know you have a strong stock in how it reacts to the overall market.
And the important thing there is why this is going to matter to you in your trading. Let's be real. If you want a strong stock, one of the biggest things for a strong stock is how well it is going to be able to hold on when it dips. if you've got those areas to hold on to, like the prior close, like some of those support levels in the pre-market that was just being referenced, suddenly you've got a less of a runway. And when you have something that gaps up, and you have a situation where it's gapped, it's strong, but it's underneath maybe that close price, an example here on AMD, it just has more room to fall in before you're even thinking about catching some of those bids. You want the ability to withstand those pullbacks. It'll save you money. In addition to, if you find a strong one, you just get a bigger winner in the first place.
All right, let's put a bow on this one more time. How about, okay, look, that was the NASDAQ I showed you, but maybe it's a sector situation, right? So in order to know that you have a super strong stock, let's look at the sector. Well, this is the SMH. Okay, here we go. Look at this. Here's the opening price. Look at that bump up. Okay, Sean, here's the opening price right here in Intel. There's the bump up. So they're the same, right? All right, well, let's go back and look at this opening range level again, right? Here's the pre-market lows. This is where we opened up. Here's that key point at 10 o'clock. But look what happens over here at 10 o'clock. We wind up holding our pre-market lows one more time. So if you look at the SMH, which is the semiconductors, a big part of that is Intel. You see the flush down in the SMH. You see the hold in Intel over there. So not only is it the market you're looking for, you're also looking for a sector-specific move, right? It's not simply just price action that gives you whether or not your stock is high or low or strong or weak. What you have to do is relate it to the market and then relate it to your specific sector. Because if you're seeing that it's strong compared to the rest, then you know you've got yourself a strong stock.
Exactly, and it's not just about the price. Being up or down ain't enough for you. Real strength shows up when the stock is put under pressure and how it's relating to its peers. We saw a lot of that today. Great example there, Sean. And as we speak, everybody, looks like we're heading back into the downside. USO, if you're looking at oil, is not necessarily leading us. So this will be interesting. If we find ourselves in an afternoon where people start taking, or I shouldn't say people, the market starts taking a little bit of risk off without any oil spikes, be careful in case we do get them. You do not, that's what you don't want to see going into this afternoon, I would think, is if we start actually not flushing, but pulling back without any corresponding strength in USO. I'm just in battle. Again, this was one from earlier. We re-entered this trade when we lost, VWAP got lost on USO, and Battle, of course, being one of those small cappers in the oil space. But I'm watching very, very closely to IBIT here. We're at 68. Oh, no, wait. Oh, it was just, I should have pulled it out faster. We were at 68 and ominously 666 for what it's worth. And it looks like we made a bit of a topping tail, lower consolidation. As long as we hold the lows on USO, this looks like we have a bit of a turning spot here on that flag. And we never breached the prior low, that 39.20. So we got a bit of a topping tail candle in here on IBIT. I want to try to get it in front of this 39 if we are able to. But keep your eye on oil. You don't want us to be moving around too much to the downside if USO isn't exactly breaking out. Because then if it does, we could go absolutely ham down. And still 6 hours till the deadline. We're going to, I shouldn't say but I strongly suspect we will get an update or two before the market is closed. It wouldn't surprise me if there was something directly from the president before we closed, especially if the market gets weak again.
All right, guys. I just want to say, great little open there. Thanks, Neil, for all of that, and thanks for everybody for their patience. So I was just, we'll talk. We got Adara. She's going to be running the news here again. We've got everything plugged in for ourselves. I got stopped out, so I tried to go short here on the TQs right into the pre-market highs. Like we just sort of did that example right there. Unfortunately, I did not expect that Apple news to hit right there. And I know Obi, same kind of way, got stopped out. I was sitting right here when that happened as well. Yeah. Oh, that story was a lie.
I wasn't here.
Neil wasn't. Go back to the double shot here because we're going to have a discussion. Yeah. Apple came out and said, no, we're completely on track. The Wall Street Journal said, completely on track. So it goes, so that's TQ. So look at Apple. I don't know if you saw Apple.
Well,
look at right here.
Okay.
So Apple goes from 250 up to 253, right back into this range. So anyways, I'm long on
Bank
Apple.
error in my favor. No, I bought some Apple at the long term at 11 o'clock.
Oh, perfect.
No, because but I just
literally
thought
got the
that
perfect price.
I thought it was an overreaction. Not that I thought it was Fugate.
Hold on, let me just see. Was that Bloomberg that reported this morning? Because if it was, then I am over on this. On Monday, Nikkei Asia. Okay. Nikkei Asia reported. I mean, here we go. If you guys want
against them, but we should definitely. That's one of the, you put in your quiver that they're 0 for 1.
Well, yeah, 0 for 1 for now. Yeah, I mean, we saw Bloomberg. Here it is right here on Nikkei. On Monday, which is today's Tuesday, Nikkei Asia reported the company is facing engineering test issues with its first foldable phone. These problems could, I mean, I guess that's the magic word, could delay, but it turns out that it's not delaying at all right there. And now apparently Apple, I always think that sometimes when there's smoke, there's fire. So, there probably is something about this story with Apple there. But I just, I let it bump higher. Well, I did take a stop out here. I did get stopped out right there on that trade. These are sells. These aren't stop outs. But that was a stop out. Then I rebought it back, like you guys know I do. And then unfortunately, I was actually literally grabbing coffee when this happened. And then I was sitting at 85. It goes to 80. And now back in. I think we could take another piece right now in and around O's for Apple if we can get it. But yeah, I'm just going to try to massage this long a little bit here. If the market does break higher, I thought Apple could be the one. But we are stopping out, guys, if it breaks right here, 215.20 downside. I mean, I don't necessarily want to be long Apple and short the market, but right now it's paying off. So we'll take that for what it is. And that's what we're doing right now. I'm going to put a bid right here on the market. There we go. We got that at 23. My next bid here is not until this area right in and around here, 43.15s or so for the NASDAQ. So we'll see if we can get back into there and take a little bit more out of the NASDAQ. And then we'll work on our Apple trade and just go from there. So, welcome to everybody back to the show. It's what a great midday. And hopefully Neil and I will keep it up right there as we are now 6 hours away from possible, I don't want to say Armageddon or anything like that, but I'm just hoping for an extension. I'm not sure there's going to be any sort of too much of a peace offering, but I just hope they can extend the talks. And this is just me speaking. I mean, we don't know, anything from anything else. But hopefully the market is giving us some indication. Oil was real hot early, right? We saw that up to 117, 118. You've really just been pulling back. So I feel like the market is feeling much better. About what could potentially be happening here tonight. I mean, the rhetoric from the president isn't the greatest, and some of the choice of words definitely scared me, and I'd hope it would scare Iran and whatnot, and hopefully they can come up with a deal. And no matter which side, gives, I hope that there's something there, because right now, oil coming back in, and it's just such a...
It's like you want to me, it's like err on the side of...
I was going to say
thing. Like I don't want
exactly.
any troops having to go and.
I don't want U.S. troops on ground. I don't want Iranian people going without power, going without food, water, all this stuff, and then the casualties that could possibly happen.
It's better for them.
They've already, not that it matters, but there's been some misplaced missiles and bombs and whatnot already, and I just don't want to see any more of that. No. Too many people getting hurt for no reason. But this is casualties of war. Unfortunately, it's. I hate talking.
And I know when we're talking about the markets, it's completely undeniable. One of the things that you got to consider too is remember we were talking about Palantir, like they're in an interesting spot here, because there's like this, best way to put it, best of both worlds thing happening where as a defense name, they're going to have a little bit of moat in case conflicts get extended, obviously. But then as a growth stock as well, like it kind of feels on the other side. It's got an interesting accumulation thing going on here every time it gets at the 50 period or this 150 level. Like it just rides the one, like it rode 150 here, bounced 150, rode the 150 for the longest time before breaking down. And now we've just eked so close to this breakout. And I feel like that's, like it's a prime candidate. I don't know if we'll get a chance to dip back into, like it dipped into this level here, like 147.75 or so. I had one scalp trade off of there. If it gets back in, I think I'd probably take another shot. But I think 150, which failed yesterday, unfortunately, but you had the wipeout, that kind of wipeout bottom, higher lows, pulling into this potential breakout trade. Hopefully all systems go tonight with some positive news. and Palantir gives you this breakout. But it's also, we were just talking about relative strength. Well, Palantir, when the market was making fresh lows this morning, was putting in higher lows. Market kept stepping down, and this actually was stepping up to the test. So I think this one this afternoon, maybe we get a retest.
Here's a story.
Here, we have good news.
I know, I just found this story. Yeah, I mean, hopefully. I mean, better than what we've been talking about, hopefully. So here's Uber right now. So Amazon CEO Andy Jassy just posted that Uber is putting our purpose-built Graviton 4 chip. So that's perfect, man. That's the kind of into millions of daily rides and deliveries. Okay, so I don't know exactly what that chip is doing. I don't think that's not autonomous driving, I don't believe. Because I thought they did a deal with NVIDIA. But here's Uber right now. We can find out. Dare's not back there. I'm going to maybe Google that Graviton 4 chip, see what's going on. But not really any effect on Uber. Oh, and then one more thing I want to talk about quickly because we did. It wasn't necessarily stopped out. Well, it was stopped out of Amazon. Amazon's still my biggest stock. Like, obviously, it's my biggest stock today. But we tried it again right there at that same level, and then we got appled. There. So that's what happens when that Apple news comes out. So we took it short for a little bit. That was a good ride back into the 50-period moving average. And then we got stopped out, I guess, essentially, right there. So when we win, I want them to look like this. And then when we lose, I want them to look like this. So that's the idea. What you get, what you want is not always what you get. So we'll try to keep our losses pretty tight. And I think we did that right here, right? We lost on the Qs there, let it settle down, got back in. This will probably be net flat, you know, because this is when the problem is when you get stopped out, it's on your full position, right? For me anyways, like not all the time, but in this situation. So let's just say you have 300 shares here. That's at 50, you get stopped out at 70. So that's I'm just using simple math, a simple person. That's $60 right there, you lose 20 cents. But then when I'm only taking 20 cents now on the downside, which it's more than that now, but when actually it's exactly 20 cents, I'm only getting out, like right now I have more than half left. So if that now rips up to the top side, it's not a flat trade because that was stopped out of 20 cents clean, all 300 shares. Meanwhile, each one of these fills is 25 shares, for example. You know, so that's what I'm trying to do. I'm actually trying to make less fills and obviously a higher percentage of my total position. So if I can, instead of using 5 or 10% as outs, if I can somehow negotiate in my mind, you know, 20% outs, then I'd have less outs and more profits. So that's what we're trying to do right now. But anyways, that's a little bit look on the TQs. And then unfortunately, Apple, guys, like, that was just a joke. Randy brought us apples this morning and it was actually sitting here. So I didn't have my mic, but when that Apple story hit.
Finish the apple?
No, I only started it right now, once that story hit. I was like, oh, there's an apple here.
Talking about how
this is actually a really good apple.
It was crispy. It was
they were really delicious.
I had 2 apples.
Yeah. Oh, you had 2 apples. Okay, yeah, they're really good, those apples.
I have an apple a day.
It's not even like an apple.
Oh, well,
I don't know. Maybe the fall is normally apple, but
I guess.
I don't know, maybe.
Let's go to see it at the desk.
We are?
Yes. Oh, apparently.
Thank you. So currently no major economic numbers are coming out today, but we do have the GDP growth rate and the core PCE numbers coming in later this week on Thursday, so stay tuned about that. Let's move on to some of our stories for today. Jet fuel supply concerns as of this morning. Airlines, as we know it, are cutting flights, and generally jet fuel is the biggest expense for an airline after labor. So as we've been seeing, fuel prices have doubled in the U.S. since the attack on Iran. United Airlines, as I remember, is being impacted greatly, with CEO Scott Kirby saying that the company will have to cut flights in the Asia region, seeing as UAL is the major player in the airline industry with most flights servicing the Asia region from the United States. Now, the travel industry as a whole is taking a hit, and we have airline executives saying that the travel demand is strong, but fuel strains and price spikes are a headache for carriers and passengers alike, especially as the peak summer travel season is approaching, as per reports from CNBC. And as of this morning, Delta Airlines has joined United and JetBlue in raising checked baggage price by $10 starting tomorrow. So currently UAL down 2.37%, DAL down almost 1%, and JBLU down 2.41%. Moving on to our next story for today. U.S. President Donald Trump's Iran deadline to open the Strait of Hormuz shipping route, as discussed yesterday in the press conference, is at 8 p.m. today. And with that, USO is fluctuating, currently down by up by 1.14%. And CVX currently up around 0.92%, with FANG up by 1%. Moving on. Health sector. CVS is up almost 7% at the moment, along with the rest of the Medicare names, such as UNH up by 10.4, accompanied by HUM up by 8.6%, all after the U.S. government said that it would boost payments for Medicare Advantage plans next year. CMS has said that it would increase payments to insurers for older Americans by almost 2.5% in the year 2027. And finally, we have AWS here. AWS teams are currently actively working to keep the Middle East services up and running after the drone strikes. And CEO of AWS, Matt Garman, has said that the teams are working 24/7 to keep the manufacturing open in the Middle East. And Amazon is currently trading flat. Sending it back to you.
All right, yeah. I mean, I was on Amazon today. I did hit that short. The story for me on Amazon today was I heard that some of the companies that were posted up there on Amazon were actually trying to fight back some of the pricing there that Amazon was taking on them. Yeah, anyways, a bunch of covers. Fabian, everything all right? Everything's all right? Okay, I don't need some explaining. What are you, my wife? Okay, yeah, so we'll get that going in just a couple minutes. But yeah, there's Amazon there. Yeah, if you guys want us to look at any names, right, put them in the chat. Let us know what you want to look at, and Neil and I will be here. We'll be, as Neil says, your Huckleberry, and look at whatever stock you may want us to look at. Right now, Netflix, barcoding. Again, you know, you scan this, you get 1 free month of Netflix. Yeah, that's probably not going to happen. But right now, Netflix not doing a whole heck of a lot, and even looks more like a barcode right here on the 5-minute chart. I would actually, Neil, not be surprised if we do not get much action here into the close, unless, again, like we're here. We got Sia and Adara, I believe. Yeah, Adara will be back. And we'll just drop whatever news winds up happening. And I think the best case scenario, and I hope I'm right, is an extension. And we just get a talk of, hey, you know what, we're close. We're not quite there yet. Maybe a ceasefire for a certain amount of days would be nice, although I thought that
would be the best
existed
case.
A little bit. And just stop all that, and hopefully we have Taco Wednesday. Although, what did you give that chili, by the way, or the lunch?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not that bad.
I didn't grade it because I hadn't actually eaten it yet.
Oh, okay.
But I thought it was, the chili itself was probably closer to like a 6.8, to a 7.
Yeah.
But the vegetables, we got like vegetables on the side, which they had like pepper on with a little bit of kick.
Roasted
And
vegetables?
so roasted vegetables was delicious. That bumps it up because I really enjoyed those. Maybe that bumps it to a 7.2.
Yep, that's where I'm at.
Plain rice was kind of useless.
I was going to say 7 too, so I'm glad that you said that.
I always throw out the.
I'm dumping the rice and all that stuff. It's not a carb thing. It's just like, yeah, like that was a good flavor.
It is for me. I don't need.
Yeah, especially if it's not going to be super tasty, right?
A couple of extra vegetables. Just very quickly here, because it was an actual move in USO just there, but it wasn't huge, but it's still good. Still good. Still good. It's to the downside. Like, you're losing all of this support, potentially, all of lunchtime. From 12 o'clock, it was a bit of a dump. From then till now, you had all kinds of support at 140.5, and we're now consolidating underneath that. So I'm not going to reload IBIT. Battle looks like a hold. And if that's the kind of, if we can hold under there and continue trend down, I was looking at Intel from the local highs. It's got a bit of a trend that's attempting to break. Didn't really draw that very well, but because it hasn't actually broken. There we go, connect a little bit better. But it's trying to break this little bit of a trend. Not VWAP, but if we can hold these lows on USO, then this for a potential break looks good in the afternoon. Let us know what other small ones, if any small cappers are going that you guys know about. Always let us know. I'm in battle here. It's sort of stair-stepping down. This is the 4th time that I've been short this one. Wish I was still in it from VWAP, but it's just trying to fill. Remember the gap from this morning? Like, it's just doing its best to fill the whole thing into 4. And if USO can continue, I think that has a pretty decent chance. So that's going to be on watch. What's Tesla doing here? Hey,
I'm going to get out of more Apple.
Tesla above VWAP in the afternoon. Talk about a sight for sore eyes. It's down 3%. That sucks. But it's actually above VWAP in the afternoon, which hasn't been able to do that in a while. It still doesn't look all that strong for those that are asking about it.
I actually just sold some Apple there at 50 and bought some Qs. So just to make that move, because we did get a move down right there. So I want to take advantage of that play, which is only about 20 cents right there downside on that. And then Apple, for some reason, didn't move really Now it's going. So that was a good sale that we had made right there at 50. So now you're getting this downside play happening for sure, it looks like now in the market. So there it is. Remember where our next bid is. We're actually bidding 17s. So a little bit more of a movement down. Of course, it stops at 19. That's okay. Right into here, 14s, 15s. I'm always a little bit ahead of wherever I see the support and resistance. I mean, I know I had that PRK, but my vision is still pretty good. And we'd be able to not pick exactly the very bottoms. I want to sort of get involved. See, like right there, it goes to 18s and bounces again. So, as a day trader that's looking very specifically at levels and obviously making many executions, you got to be careful for sitting on the exact penny, because it doesn't really matter. I mean, if you're trading, like if I'm getting out of 1,000 shares every time and you miss by 1 penny, I mean, 1 penny on 1,000 shares is only $10. So it's like I'd rather get the fill and then not even worry about it. And if I was worried about that, I could go like 500 shares here and then maybe 500 shares at 16, right? That way, if you get the 18 and the 16, essentially, hello math, that's the same as getting your 17s. So, yeah. All right, you see how it's just even bouncing right now? I'll take another bid right here. And now I will lower my 17 bid and just put it for a little bit less shares. So there it is. So we get the 20, and now we'll go to 17 for a little less, and then see what winds up happening, just in case this is a bouncing situation here. So, all right, so that's the talk about that. Yeah, tonight at Blue Ocean is going to be real wild, man. I mean, that's going to be at 8 p.m. So right away, we'll see. I mean, ears and eyes to CNN or whatever you're watching here, and then right back to the market as we'll wait to see if that deadline comes and goes. And it's not like all of a sudden at 8 p.m. it's going to be all-out chaos, but I actually don't know if that's what's going to wind up happening. Bitcoin and IBIT kind of holding fort right now as well. Look, I'd rather be net short this market, so we are going to be getting ready to stop out of Apple right now. We already talked about where that stop out is, and we're getting very, very close to that. IBIT as well, starting to tick a little lower. Silver was lower today. We did have some US dollar weakness, which was starting to spike, so still going higher right now. Remember we showed you silver downside with the rest of the market, then the dollar started to catch a bid. Right there, which helped out the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ, as Neil makes that perfect buy of Apple.
I've ended the poll.
Okay, yeah, let's go to that. Oh, that was a stupid poll anyways.
We're done with this poll, and let's try to come up with something.
It's not about the poll being stupid, it's just zero. I didn't like the zero part.
I love the question.
Yeah.
I think Bitcoin is underneath 70, there's a lot of bears, and I've been short-term bearish on it, but I've ended the poll, and it's 57% think 500K on Bitcoin before it goes to zero. That's it's a weird one because it's a little bit, it's difficult not to, it's so extreme. But I'm thinking here, I know I know we usually do something for the afternoon, like what's the market gonna do? But I have something a little bit more interesting. After 8, or just like 8 p.m., or after the deadline tonight. After the deadline tonight, whoops, I can't even pronounce. It's just simply we're gonna be red or green, right? Market up, market down. Oh, no, I should just go up and down because it's going to, yeah. I know it types
the word market.
Thing. No, the word market, just everything just ends up showing up. So we're going to start the voting. After the deadline tonight at 8, do you think the market is going to be up or down? Vote 1 or type 1 for up, type 2 for down. I feel like we're going to get a lot of 2s in there, which already that seems like what's happening. I just don't want it to be 50-50 again, but it is tracking close to 50-50, 58-42, 63. The 2s are starting to come in here. One's a little bit pessimistic. Hopefully we get some good news. But I think what happens by 4 o'clock might not be the biggest story. It is going to be what happens in Blue Ocean if you're not looking, if you're a Blue Ocean trader, if you're someone that looks at the aftermarket and you're not looking at it tonight, I don't know what you're doing. Like when was the last, outside of, actually, maybe not even, like we've had Tesla events or Elon will be speaking in the evening or maybe you have post earnings can be pretty big. But in terms of a macro event, where you have the ability to trade in the aftermarket, this seems about as big as it gets for those traders.
Check out this story here.
What happened?
This is not the discombobulator. This is another thing. CIA used secret tool, Ghost Murmur,
that sounds good,
to locate downed U.S. airmen in Iran. Its first real-world use can detect human heartbeat from miles away using AI and advanced sensors. So, who is? So I asked Gemini. Murmur is something that's been developed by MIT there. So something to do with being developed over there. radar system designed to rapidly detect range, people trapped in collapsed buildings, rubble. So here you go, man. Co-sponsored by the U.S. Special Operations Command.
There's a lot of good things that can get done with that.
Murmur.
There's also a lot of really sort of scary.
You're not down with the murmur?
Well, no. You can start to think of the tinfoil hat applications there. But I thought, was it you just mentioning if you find some people in rubble would be?
I can get rid of this now.
Post, like post.
No, I think it'd be great for earthquakes and you're finding kids
there's
or
so much
animals.
There's so many positive applications for something like that. You just the brain immediately goes to the.
They can hear
the other side of it. You guys know what I'm thinking. I'm 1980. Sometimes you can read a book too much. I probably read 1984 too many times when I was a kid. So my mind goes right to the other place instead of all the positive for that technology. But that's positive for Oracle, you're saying, even though what's it doing?
Oh, no, there's news. No, that's not positive for Oracle.
What was the Oracle?
Oracle was someone was purchasing or helping them with one of their data centers.
Oh, that's it.
It was nothing. It was just a little bit of a spike up there, something about Oracle and a data center. Okay. I just had Oracle up. I didn't. I was actually hoping that this was a Palantir product, but it's developed there in MIT or at MIT.
I saw this video.
So nothing going on there.
One of their Palantir and like the way it optimizes what they call workflows for literally eliminating targets. Yeah,
no, I didn't see that video. Is it crazy?
It's one of those things where it makes it a little too easy for cover, which is a good thing if you're like a general or whatever. But when you watch it, it's like, oh yeah.
Well, apparently that discombobulator. Did you hear about that?
It's the movie with Gene Hackman and Will Smith. That's what you'll start to think that. And that movie's like a ridiculous Enemy of the State, I believe.
Okay.
That's like 20-something years old, and my goodness. Like the stuff that's happened, like basically we're there and past that. Put that movie on crack.
Here's another story right here. UK now withdrawing forces from Iraq, so we'll clear that out. So that's going to be sort of it. So there you go. We'll slap a fail on the only red stock, obviously today for me, and that's going to be Apple. And it just dropped out. So there was the level there on Apple. So we tried it, man. We tried to support it. We will wind up losing on this whole situation. It was just. Not much, but we tried, and it's just downside. And I should have also maybe just got out of. I was trying to get out. You guys saw me there as this market was failing here into the afternoon. So we'll see what winds up happening. I mean, the market could still hold VWAP. My whole call here on the TQs is really just we got stopped out there. That's the sucky part. But we went all the way back into the day. And for me, I trade the TQs. I know it's not the futures. This is a triple levered product that aims to mimic the futures and give you triple the return. So right now NASDAQ 7, right, down 0.1, so 0.21. So that is that exact relationship. And I'm just thinking that we could test VWAP. I don't know if we're going to break it, but like if we get down to 43, let's just see. With all the rhetoric spitting around, we're going to go to Adair now. Maybe there's a story of some sort. No, are we not going to Adair?
No. Well,
no, cancel that. Scratch that.
USO's a little.
Hey, Adair.
We'll talk about TTD. The trade desk once again here on watch after Adweek reports that 3 key executives from the company are leaving the company. That includes CMO or Chief Marketing Officer Ian Colley. So again, the trade desk here on watch as we get reports that 3 key execs are going to be leaving TTD. Back to you.
What's worse right now? Trade desk. Let's go SMCI. And what's really
trade
bad?
desk, SMCI, TTD, I think is the worst.
I'm trying to think of a third name, but forget about a third name. Which one?
Oracle? Oracle's pretty bad, pretty beat
Out of those 3, I'd buy Oracle 10 times.
Yeah, same. That's a big mega cap.
Between the 3, but Adair reacted to that. No, between trade desk, Oracle, and SMCI, who wouldn't be buying it? I feel like Oracle.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. Like I said, my thing with this has never been technical. So if you're talking technicals, then sure. If you're talking fundamentals, y'all know how I feel about Oracle.
Yeah, but I think the fundamentals of trade desk are significantly worse.
Yeah.
Their whole business model is completely changed.
Thrown on its head.
The advertising is now, everything has to completely change, man. You've seen AppLovin. Oracle looks nothing. I mean, this business is almost over. The trade desk, right? Like, I don't know what they're worth anymore. But this was $140, honestly. This is not even that long ago.
That's beyond broken.
This is December, so this is basically 2025 up here. So you're about a year year and a quarter in, and you're from $130 down to $21, and now losing executives. Like, Oracle is a nightmare. But Oracle's only chopped in half.
Trade desk on the chart is worse than SMCI. SMCI wasn't even at 130. Its high's at 120, and it's at $22.
SMCI
that's
is
how
fixable.
broken.
SMCI was basically corrupt.
Well, I still wouldn't touch this one.
Oh, wow.
Like Oracle, you can say whatever you want about it.
Sounds like a poll.
At least there's a there for it to catch a bid. Yeah, why not? You know what?
I just think SMCI is
enough of these.
I think SMCI is in the right space.
50-50 again. The deadline tonight.
It's
another 50-50. We can't get away from these. It's 55-45.
That's not
slightly
as much 50-50.
favoring down. But I'm going to return to menu, and this is very simple. Buy one.
Oracle might be too good.
SMCI.
Oracle might be too good.
Trade desk. Well, we've already said Oracle, so I'm going to keep it in
switch
because I actually think.
How about
that our
Duolingo? Someone
viewers-
said Duolingo might be.
I think our viewers are going to be like Oracle 60%. 60, 20, 20 at absolute
Okay, let's
worst.
do it.
So 1 SMCI, 2 trade desk, 3 is Oracle. I can't see how you take.
If anybody pushes 2, then I think it's
I'd be shocked. You're getting some SMCI votes. I don't think anybody nobody wants trade desk.
Joe probably puts trade desk.
Now people are just going to do it for a joke. It's 60% Oracle, 34. Okay, some people like SMCI. I'd love to hear the case for SMCI.
Well, no, I think otherwise, I think it's a pretty easy case. I mean, they have the server racks. I mean, all these data centers continue to get built. They need to have equipment. There's nothing wrong with SMCI's equipment.
Well, the problem is management and scandal.
That's what I'm saying. As soon as they can cover that up. Get rid of these guys?
But was there anything deeper with this China story? Like, were there more sales that are illicit China sales? Like, there could be more to that, and they're losing even more revenue. I just feel like with Oracle, even like there's a bottom somewhere, even if you think the bubble is a burst. There's still a bottom that I can wrap my head around with Oracle, and it's a little harder to with these two. But now, see, the trolling did come in. It was flat out 0, and then the second we mentioned trolling, 11% say trade desk. I'm not a believer, but I like these polls. It's always good to see. Because then maybe it opens a discussion. Maybe we're missing something about trade desk. I don't think we are in this case. See ya at the desk.
Yes, thank you. Let's take a look. The IWM currently in the red, down 0.21%. Let's take a look at a couple individual tickers here. ATNM. I'm going to talk about ATNM right here. Actinium Pharmaceuticals up almost 8% on the day. No current news on this, but the company has, as of yesterday, announced the publication of 2 abstracts that are to be set to be announced at the AACR annual cancer research meeting taking place between April 17th to 22nd in San Diego, California. Moving on to BBBY. Bed Bath & Beyond down almost on the day for 7.92, almost 8%. The stock seems to be reacting to the managerial change in the company. Amy Sullivan, who has been the president of companies such as Kirkland and the Brand House Collective, has been named president of the company as of yesterday. And I also want to take a look at energy minerals here. MUR, Murphy Oil up 2.59, and GPOR, Gulfport up 0.86, followed by SM up by 3%. Nothing crazy here.
Bath and yuck.
I found a side hustle, and I sent this to Marissa.
Shorting Bed Bath & Beyond?
No. Check out this story. So this is from Yahoo Finance. So meet Tommy, a former car salesman who's pulling in 200 G's a month by negotiating car prices for people. That's one of my favorite things to do, is go over and talk car prices with car salesmen. Like, honestly, I just told Marissa, this is what I said to her. I said, so my message to her is, please go find this story and see how I can become him or her.
You know what? I've only done it a couple times, but it is interesting.
Yeah. He said, here you go. Marissa says, that's a great side hustle for you. It's more of a game for you as well. So I was like, yeah.
It's the challenge.
So there you go, yeah.
You know what? Because I appreciate a good salesperson. There was one time, you know when you're in well, I shouldn't say the Caribbean, because it's not like it only happens there. Like you're at a resort, and they have those little, if you go and talk to these guys for 9, and they're going to try to sell you a timeshare. We'll give you this, that, and this. And my wife's like, man, I'm not kidding.
Some of those guys are too good.
I go, don't worry about it. Like, we're good, man. I have a lot of patience. I'll be back in 90 minutes, and we'll get whatever we're getting. And it's no issue. And there was at least one time, because it always works out. You're not selling me jack. But there was one time where I was in one of those, and at the end, I go, dude, I enjoy these. You are hands down the best. If I was if I wasn't slick at all, trust me, you'd have had me rope. And I was like giving the guy daps. I'm like, but you're not getting a sale from me. But like you were legit, dude. And if I was in sale, I would hire you in a heartbeat. This guy was killing it. He was like Wolf of Wall Street. He was good enough. But anyway,
I love that stuff. But I don't. Those guys are really good. I don't want to be involved in that. I want to be working for the other person, right? To try to get.
You want to be.
I'm not the guy trying to do the whole side hustle.
He was not Tyler.
Right here. Ogen, right? There.
Oh my goodness, Bed Bath & Beyond. Why were we bringing this stock?
There was a story there about.
Like they come back only to get crushed again. You come back from the dead only to die again. Yuck.
Yeah, I don't even know why that came back. Are there any Bed Bath & Beyond or
do we have
Bed Bath & Beyond stores anymore?
I don't recall seeing one in a very long time.
Yeah,
I can't remember the last time.
That was sad there when that was happening during GameStop times and AMC. But AMC is back also, by the way. We just took another fill there on the futures. We're seeing some updates out of Orogenics. Of course, their ticker OGEN on the NYSE American. The company has now activated its Phase 2A clinical trial in Australia, with its first site fully operational and patient dosing expected next. They're developing ONP-002, an intranasal treatment targeting concussion and mild traumatic brain injury, an area where there are currently no FDA-approved therapies. Alongside that, Orogenic has spent the past year strengthening its balance sheet, raising capital, and resolving liabilities, also restoring exchange compliance. The focus now shifts to execution, with clinical progress underway and additional CNS assets under evaluation. So please go check them out over there, listed OGEN. That's Orogenics.
Love it.
My eye over there. I always go.
Have you seen Avis? Remember we were talking about Avis this morning?
Car was the symbol.
It's still squeezing. It's up 17%. I'm not going to lie to you guys. We talked about it this morning, and then I remember at the open when we had that push down, my first thought was, it's dead. Bye-bye. That's going to be the end of it. We're not even bothering to look. Hard bottom at prior close, and then look at this sucker. Unbelievable. This is really, when we say squeezing, this is unbelievable. Because I'm going to double check, because we didn't do this. I didn't do this in the morning. I'm sure lots of people that would have.
I've checked. I did not see anything.
I just want to see the short float on this. See, because to me the story is.
Oh, there's a lot of short float on that one.
I see 48, and I'm going to check a second.
48%?
So I have 48 at.
People don't like the car business.
On one source on Avis, and I'm just going to double check, because sometimes you want to get a couple of sources in there, so bear with me while I check. I'm going to check FinViz and see what they say. They've got 23. So one says 23, the other says 48. Doesn't really matter. The point is, it's a huge short float. This has gone 250% since March 20th. So that's 2.5, 3 weeks in here. Insanity. It's just squeezing like crazy. So pure squeeze play, in my opinion. You know how these usually end up. But for now, it has been an unbelievable buy the dip. This candle on the 15, I'm like, yeah, whatever. We talked about it this morning. Yeah, it's been squeezing. It's just no chance I thought it had a continuation. It felt like that was the end of it. And the dips keep on getting bought when it comes to Avis. So put some respect on CAR, as Avis is doing some things. And I know some of the other car rental names, like Hertz was up a little bit, and who else? What's the third one? There's someone else I'm not that it matters, Hertz, but it's kind of starting and ending with Avis when you look at the chart. It's obviously leading the way. So if you're watching Hertz or you're long in Hertz, keep an eye on Avis, because if that loses the bid, you can probably forget about the other ones. It's leading the squeeze. So we're starting to pull back in. I'm targeting VWAP for IBIT here, just shorting that lower high. We've got about halfway. It looks like we have a decent chance to get all the way down there. And as we come back down, you might have guessed it. Spoiler alert, the USO is heading right back into VWAP. So if it gets to VWAP in curls, my plan will be to reload battle, because this is making lower highs as you're pushing highs on getting into VWAP. Obviously, this is weaker. That's the idea than USO. But this is going to break trend very quickly. So if it breaks the trend here, I'll just jump out. I have to actually move my stop. I'm going to do that. Oh, that was weird. That's going to move my stop. It won't be break even, but it's just this trend since the flush down, lower high, lower high, lower high, just to tighten it up. And if we get to VWAP holding the trend, then I can reload. And when I say VWAP, I mean on USO. Like if USO comes into here, rejects again, then I can just add. But I want to see it make a top, jump in, make a top, and then add to this already into the red. Those small cappers, they're just not built the same in the oil space, as far as I'm concerned. And T-Dot mentioning the VIX. Yeah, high a day. Well, if it'd be shocking. We chart UVXY. Like I could pull up trading view on the VIX, but the move's going to be the same. I don't think it should surprise anybody that you're getting a bump up. How can there not be increased movement upside in the VIX going into tonight? Like what possibly?
I mean, here's the story right here. I just put this up. Like I just covered a little bit more on the TQs. By the way, we are now 50 cents in the money. Remember we were talking about our stop was 20 cents? So now all of a sudden it's starting to make sense. We didn't get anything out. We talked about our next bid was going to be at 43 even, so we do that. We got the 43.17s. We got 43.10 right there as well in the 200. Now we get 43s. Now we look to break. And even when, I mean, look, sometimes it's easy and most of the time it's hard. But I said, like, we'll probably get back here to test VWAP. So that, you know, actually on that note, I'm going to put another bid. Okay, well, there it is. We got 95 right there almost immediately. So that was a good one. And then, so there it is right there. Iranian media warns that citizens got to be careful, you know, crossing all of these bridges. I actually really hate these stories because, like, I can't believe this is actually what might happen. Like, I was actually thinking about this being at the gym, and I was like, you know, how would I feel if right now, you know, thinking about like your kids and everything, and you know, you go to bed tonight. I guess you're going in a bomb shelter or something, if that's what it is.
Well,
we just feel.
That's if you have someone.
I know. I just feel so
right? Like that's
privileged that you don't get to choose where you're born, and unfortunately. We'll see what happens there, and we just pray for the best, I guess. What's up, Adara?
Yeah, I think furthermore here, I just wanted to add to that. In addition to the closing here of some of these bridges, they also have certain areas that are going to be declared closed military zones. That'll start at 11 p.m. in Tehran time, and that'll, I guess, continue until further notice. So, unfortunately, we're also going to get some entire zones closed off.
Well, let's just hope that there is a.
The best for
yeah, like I'm really thinking. I'm really aggressive on the keys. Like I'm getting ready, man. It's kind of why I want to cover. I just don't see. I think it's going to get pushed out. I really do. I hope there's a ceasefire, and it's not like a psych 8 o'clock, but it's just like, all right, you know, talks are progressing, and you know that little discussion this morning was hopefully not what plays out. So. We're just gonna, you know, hope for the best and, you know, pay attention. And that's all we can do. And we don't talk, you know, our opinion on the market is simply just that. And we just talking about how this affects the market and potentially your investments or your day trading. And obviously sometimes it does get,
and
you know,
a
little bit of personal and morals and all that kind of stuff. But everyone is different in that relation. So just trade it accordingly and understand what's happening.
Well, you can't.
That's all. Right?
It's impossible that you are trading or making any kind of investment decisions right now without some concern here. Whether it doesn't even matter what your time frame is, because if your time
I didn't sell anything.
If your time frame is even longer, then you might be concerned about like whether you have recession or higher input costs for a longer period of time, like where you might find safety if this things were to escalate.
I mean, you literally bought today.
Good. You can't even
because you got to buy the right stocks at the right prices.
Yeah. Well, that was more of a reaction to I just didn't believe that story should have been that bad for Apple, and I hadn't bought Apple in a long time. Nick Dubs. Here's an interesting one.
What's he want to know
because
about?
we were just talking about dumpster fire names, and he likes, I'm looking to buy a swing call position in PayPal, January 2027. That's a ways out, so you got some time. I bought one call today. I'm looking to add at 43 and 41.40 for a second.
I mean, you got to get down there first.
Like bull flag on 30. I'll just get this out of, you've probably heard me say before, I'm not a huge fan of PayPal. I don't even use them anymore. I'm not sure what's going to get these guys, man, you got to go to a monthly to make it look better. I'm not sure what's going to make this get going again.
So I know the answer to that question.
Because look
I thought about this.
It's a broken chart.
No, we are lucky that we're in a society where our banking system is somewhat stable, right? And I just feel like if you were looking to deposit money and didn't trust the banks to get the money out, so on and so forth, this is just a thought, because I was thinking the same thing, like what is PayPal's runway? And I really do think it involves, you know, outside of North America. So that's all. I think
It needs to be something.
Yeah, I don't know if it's big in India or I don't know anything. There's probably other alternatives. That's the other thing. How hard is it to make a PayPal? I mean,
we were just talking about broken stocks, and we just had that pull up with the trade desk, SMCI, and Oracle. And you could take out SMCI, insert chart of PayPal, and it's just as broken as any of them. Like, we're not talking about pandemic lows. Like, PayPal is back to 2017. Like, that's a comparison we were making with Nike the other day. Like, when Nike earnings, we were talking about levels like that. So there you go, Ryan.
There you go, yeah.
It's huge in Germany. I hope so. I've just never been a fan of PayPal.
I mean, he could have also said, I never heard of PayPal and I live in Germany, and I would have put it up as well. I don't know, but I thought that because
like this.
I don't even know if I own anything. It's very, very small. But also, we never talk about Block anymore.
That Block I used
that stock got blocked.
None of them are very good.
Oh, by the way, do we have to go to Adara? Look at Apple. Ever since Apple broke, we should have just gone short. We were already short the market, but there goes Apple right back in. Hopefully not to Neil's levels there, but we could get it back in again. All right, Adara's got more updates for us.
I have some oil-related news, guys. So Tasnim, which I guess is an Iranian source, they're saying that they're hearing reports that Iran's going to be adding oil facilities of Aramco, as well as Saudi Arabia's Yanbu and UAE's Ful Arja pipeline to its targets if President Trump attacks the country's power plants. So again, here just to recap, hearing reports that Iran is going to be targeting oil facilities or adding them to their target list, rather, if President Trump and the U.S. do end up attacking the country's power plants. So fortunately, further escalations. Back to you.
Thank you. We're just going to take a quick look at the sector over here. I have a couple of names to mention. Apple, AAPL, trading negative 3.09%. Apple's foldable iPhone remaining on track for a September debut, according to Bloomberg News. Microsoft, MSFT, down 0.89%. It's working with Ontario and Quebec governments to align data center growth with investments and to partner on region-specific water projects to improve infrastructure resilience. WMT on the other side, Walmart down 3.4%. However, FSIS has withdrawn a public health alert for certain chicken nuggets that were sold at Walmart after finding certain lead levels, but this report is false according to reports. INTC Intel trading positive 2.45% after announcing that Intel is joining the TerraFab project, which includes XAI, Tesla, and SpaceX, to make chips, as it announced through a post on X. And as we know it, the health sector services are doing great today, with UNH up almost 10%, HCA 1.67.
I like it. This is why I love these discussions, because Ian Gunther in the chat. And I'll get to, before I do that, I just want to acknowledge, when Nick, our viewer, sent the super chat about PayPal holdings, it was about the 30-minute and the liking a bull flag. I was looking at a weekly chart, because I always go to the higher time frame first when I look at anything that I'm not involved in personally. I want to go from the top down. But yeah, it's made boom and then higher low in here. I just usually feel like you can sit in the bull flag, or you can take it when it breaks out and then use that as your exit point. Potentially, there's lots of ways to work it, but yeah, good looking chart there. And then there was a good comment from JL. Was it JL8? Oh shoot! No, it's Ian Gunther. And I'm just going to do it this way because I'm not on the right page here. PayPal has a huge buyback. They also have a dividend. They traded a price to near 1. They're still the largest e-payment company in the world. Okay, just because I don't use them doesn't mean that they're not still big. I can be convinced of things. Maybe it deserves a closer look. When we talk about things on this show, the first thing that happens is we're going to go to technicals, because that's what we're doing. We're not trying to give investment advice. And I'm still on Block here. And when I see the destruction in PayPal, my first thought always is, why do you need to have, you don't need, if it's going to rebound, why do you need to try to hold that or just pick the bottom? Why not wait for it to show some signs of breaking the trend, which to me means not just holding the higher low, but then breaking out the next level. There's a break out the next level and break that bull flag. That looks a little bit better to me. I prefer joining than hoping and predicting. That's just my 2 cents. So we are, by the way, USO is to VWAP at this point. So VWAP there, VWAP here, volume weighted average price, in case everyone knows what it is by now. But I'm looking to catch this volume weighted average price on IBIT. And if we make a right hand turn, it's a punch out. Once I see this reverse, it's just a quick punch out there and maybe an add to that battle reload in that battle position because we're being led by the markets. And
there it goes, man. I mean, we said we could test VWAP, and not only are we testing VWAP, we take a huge fill rate here. This is now 70 cents in the money, 3-to-1 now against, more than 3-to-1 against that, and we've done real well holding, man. So this is going to be a monster one more time right there. Not as big as, you know. We talked about our game plan today, if you guys want to go, and this got a lot of views, so I think maybe I'll just do this continuously over and over there. It got 8,000 views today, and it was just sort of the game plan for today. Size down aggressively, right? Having some extreme patience and wait for moves. We sort of talked about that. Don't force mediocre setups. So, you know, potentially there in Apple, I can go talk about that trade. That was the only trade we lost on today. The only stock we've lost on. I've only traded 3 names. And then respect whatever the catalyst is, right? And so today we got the catalyst there on Apple. I went long, didn't think that was much of a story, did not respect it. And then we got that other story where it might have been a fugaze. But right there, I'll put this in. You guys can go have a quick little read, and maybe we'll do some more of that as we go through. But okay, that's just that. That doesn't really matter. What I wanted to get at, though, was nice move down lower. And, you know, all you have to have is an idea. And if that idea pays off, if you have the proper risk management, then Bob's your uncle, and you're laughing all the way, hopefully, to some sort of a bank. So that's what we're doing right there. All right, so let's move on into the next topic of conversation. And congratulations to Michigan yesterday. As we go talk about something positive. They're the Wolverines. Take it down. I know that's not your Spartans. Maybe next year, Michigan State will be able to have.
Oh, no, they won't.
But that was 5 transfers, by the way.
No.
All 5 starters on Michigan were transferred.
No, it was a team that couldn't be beat. It was.
Yeah, so it was kind of like a setup there. But
Michigan State's going to lose. They won't be that great now.
Oh, they're losing, guys? Okay.
No, they're losing to a couple.
AXIA. By the way, we are just.
Bye-bye.
This has been stink face at that right now. Shout out to my guy Joe over there. So let's go bang, 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 bang. He had an uncontrollable, beautiful trade there on AIXI as it got halted over there. And then he was panicking and thought he was going to get fired when he got out and he got. What's it called? Internal filled there. And what that means is that often you'll have multiple traders at real trading throwing in bids and offers. And if you wind up hitting somebody, that's internalized, right? So that's kind of like a wash trade. So that gets dealt with in the back. So Joe got a fill while this was halted. And then it opened up and it was a great trade. And then this one went all the way to 270 today, AIXI. And if Adair can remind me of the story, then that would be great.
There was not one that was new. There was an old one. I mentioned this during the small caps. Like last week, I guess one of their companies or subsidiaries, related company, tried to push some patent claim against Apple. So they're trying to sue Apple. But again, that's not AIXI. That's a company related to them. That's also from last week.
Okay. So, all right, so nothing new today potentially, but there it is, a move higher there on AIXI, and I feel like I'm looking at this on the wrong chart because this probably has split, or at least it did right there. So it was down to 0, and then it split probably 500 to 1 or more than that, it looks like, because it went up to $5, continued out, now down to 7. Again, yeah, you have it on. You have it on Eastern. Yeah, it could be right here. Was it in August of 24?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a split. See, so we don't. You know, this is not to like throw, it is a little bit to throw shade actually at stocks that split. Like, so this splits in 24. Now it's worth 100 times less than it was then because like it went right back down to 0 again. So like, you know, your weekly chart there shows it as what price?
The high is actually $93.
$93. So, you know, this is only a $2.40 stock.
You're not seeing that again.
So, anyways.
Unless you're Carvana, you don't see those ever again, and that's just the reality. So that's the reason we bring that up is because, look, AIXI, if you trade that today, if you held that from yesterday, there's nothing that was better in terms of a trading opportunity. If we're just talking brass tacks and percentages, you could have had this at 20 cents and still be holding on to it. That's 10x. Great. You could have had it this morning in your 2.5 times if you had the $1 breakout. But the history is if you try to parlay that into holding it forever and never taking gains, almost every single time these things revert back down to the dumps is the only way I'm going to think about it. But a good-looking stock for, at least for this session and at least for now. All right, we just got to that VWAP we were talking about. Let's go back to IBIT for a second. So we're bouncing a little bit off VWAP. The other thing that's happening is USO. I'll just show you. USO goes right into the volume weighted average price. and is doing a little bit of a turnaround. Maybe not much, but just enough. Like it trends into VWAP and starting to pull back. So if there's any kind of a pullback in here, I'm just gonna use the opportunity to get out of the short. If it works, it works. But while that was happening, I also like that battle, but it broke trend. So even with USO going, like our third take on battle, it breaks the trend line. So we're in, and like you actually held this wick here, and then it came back underneath. So it's like, okay, we'll add back in. That's where our trail is anyways. So the last bit will end up basically break even. But if this goes higher and pulls back, 435 or into VWAP and I catch another curl, I still prefer shorting this one just because it seems way, way weaker than the overall market. Oh, say it ain't so. Ninja in the chat just said Netflix broke the low of the day.
Oh, well, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
Well, it was only because it almost broke 100 this morning. That sucks. Now you have back-to-back failures at $100 for Netflix. If it was a swing trade, this would be a very opportune time to maybe bank some profit, because the reason this broke, part of the reason, whoops, you know what, I'm just not going to, our charts aren't split adjusted here, so if I go over to eSignal, it's just easier for me to pull up the daily chart there, so I'll do that and be able to show Netflix, because the reason why you broke this out was simply, this was trending down. They were getting hate for the Warner Brothers Discovery deal. And then the second that went to Paramount Skydance, like boom, it just shot from 80 to $100. And this is now a couple of days of rejecting the 100 level. Probably a good ring the register spot for that 80 long if it was a swing trade instead of like a long-term buy. Hate to see that, but ball doesn't lie. 2 days in a row. And the funny thing about it is I actually think in some ways Netflix wouldn't have been a bad place to hide out during this turmoil, because how much pressure are they in with oil prices rising?
If anything, they're a huge beneficiary of it, because less people going out.
And they seem like a safe hiding spot. It's just not reacting like that.
Well, I could just see, like, if the consumer gets strapped, you may not go out to the movies. You may, not go out to dinner and movie, something like that. You order in, maybe potentially cheaper. You watch something on Netflix, Netflix, and some say chill at some point, and you can get that all figured out. So I would just say that Netflix is a potential beneficiary. Plus, the other thing about Netflix is they don't have to worry anymore about this content issue. I think the next phase of content is live sports. Like, I'd much rather have these guys spending, honestly, $87 billion on NFL games, MLB games, F1, the Masters, whatever the heck they want, even stuff like Oscars or whatever, rather than spending it on The Sopranos and on...
but all these cartoon shows,
Harry Potter.
There's a million different cartoon and kids shows and stuff they have. It's going to get cheaper to make that type of content with AI. All of that kind of content's getting cheaper.
Yeah, because that's all AI based.
And I say that, it sucks. My brother is a computer animator. That's what he does. It sucks for the space and for actual artists.
Yeah.
But the truth is the truth. And for them, it's only going to get, in my opinion, cheaper to make some of the stuff that they are in bulk doing. I believe we're going to the death. Maybe another update.
You can't make live sports.
You can't make, that's the thing. That's free of AI. Although ABS is fantastic.
Consumer credit change here. This came out at 3, not a massive number, but I will go over it for you guys. So actual number here, 9.48 billion. That's going to be below the consensus here of around 10 billion. And they also downwardly revised the prior print. So before, the print for the month of January for consumer credit change was 8.05 billion. That's been revised down to 7.67 billion. NASDAQ here right now, about to get a little bit here for that first 3-minute candle of Power Hour. If we get more updates, I'll let you know. But yeah, consumer credit change lower than expected, and the prior month was downwardly revised. Back to you.
Yeah.
Thank you, as always, Adara. Oh,
it's forcing the umpires to be more honest.
I love it.
Because, like, you might have given, let's just use Max Scherzer as an example, like, in his prime, the pitch is close enough, you ring the guy up because, you're giving, it's kind of like how Michael Jordan or these guys get the calls. I feel like that happens in baseball as well. And this way, there was something like, there's like more walks now or something. Over the weekend, there was some sort of a stat, and I heard it yesterday on Jay's Talk. There was some sort of a stat where it was the most walks given up ever in a weekend of baseball, something like that. And it's because the umpires aren't calling those. Has nothing. It's really not that they were challenged on ABS. It's just the umpires are forced to be very
if you
boxed
look at the zone, like this, if the zone was this, like it was always customary to get like that. It was like a circle. It could be and you'd get a circle around the edges. And that is no longer there. I think it's fantastic, but it just goes to show, like, I'm not a technology hater. Like, I love baseball. I don't want to be old school. I think you have to be that way for all technology. That's why I can praise and love the fact as a Netflix shareholder that I think things will get cheaper and more efficient, because some of the content that they have on Netflix, if you watch for the kids content, it's not exactly the greatest animation in the first place.
No.
So it might as well.
Doesn't need to be.
It might as well be done cheaper, because it doesn't necessarily need to be.
SpongeBob.
Yeah, like,
The Simpsons,
pretty
all that. The other thing is the World Baseball Classic. Congratulations to Venezuela, but that ended on a ball. So there are ways to get things right, but also you do want to make sure that there are, there is some sort of a chance or whatever, luck based, by the umpire, some sort of a skill there. You don't want to completely automate everything, or do you? Okay, so the TQs. I just took another fill here at 75. Look, I mean, I don't know what this story. I took another one at 70. I don't know where we're going to go. We're now into power hour. Just for this argument here, I only have 15% left now, as we did a lot of covering down into here. I was really surprised that this was a good fill right there at VWAP, so we're really happy to get that. And then, looking here, I'm just kind of, this is where I think maybe I'm getting lazy. Like, I'm just taking fills based on, this market moving. I think maybe if we are going to retest some of those lows, maybe it's worth waiting for this. You're now underneath VWAP. We can stop out now at a 50-period break. The 200 is going to be way gone. That's already up here. I'm not going to wait for all that. VWAP 42.90, I'm not going to stop out there. Maybe 43.05 or so if you're rolling with me right here. And looking, I'm going to put my next bid right here. Let's go to 42.50s. Right into there, okay? So we'll put a bid at 42.50, and that's gonna be that. And we're gonna look for some more opportunities where we are not done trading. I think we should look in the oil space. You were just in battle, and another name there, so we'll have a quick look, and we'll throw it over to you now and look for some more opportunities.
As you're finding opportunities or looking for opportunities, remember the volatility is gonna create movement, and if you're a sophisticated trader, that's where the good opportunities come. And Beta Pro by Globex is offering Canada's first and longest running suite of leveraged and inverse ETFs that are built for sophisticated investors that understand the risks of leverage and the importance of precision. Its triple leverage bull and 3x pair ETFs tied to the NASDAQ 100 index are designed for daily tactical trades, providing amplified daily exposure and giving traders tools to engage with both upward momentum and market pullbacks. These strategies are currency hedge, seeking to offset US dollar exposure back to the Canadian loonie. For those navigating short-term market moves up or down, Beta Pro offers the flexibility to act with conviction, whatever that looks like for your individual strategy, objectives, and risk profile. Trade tactically and learn more at betapro.ca. Scan the QR code you see out in front of you. And one of the things that you might want for tactical trading is having a good setup. Well, I would have liked it. It would be nice if Intel broke the trend to go higher. Unfortunately, it held trend and lost VWAP. So just like earlier today, underneath VWAP was going to be a litmus. Broke VWAP here, confirmed the trend line and held it there. So that signals a join trend short opportunity here on them. And then if it breaks back above, like this will be like 52, it's like 52.08 or something. That gives an out. And then as mentioned, you have USO pressing into VWAP itself. So if this breaks out through VWAP, I think the shorts are going to get re-engaged one more time. But I allowed that to travel up, and I allowed Battle to travel up. And lo and behold, we get out and wait for it to get to that lower high. It just did a topping tail at that lower high. That does give me another opportunity here in BATL. Let's go back to the Dara at the desk.
Keep an eye on CrowdStrike. There was like a cybersecurity FBI related headline earlier, but I looked a little bit into this, and the reason this appears to be moving could have to do with, I guess, traders taking some time to digest an Anthropic headline called Project Glasswing. Now, this came out around 2 p.m. So you can see the CrowdStrike move didn't really start until 2:15, 2:20, but basically Project Glasswing is announced by Anthropic is going to be a new initiative, to my knowledge, that will not ever be released to the public, but it's going to bring together some companies, including CrowdStrike, as well as Palo Alto. So there's a couple different cybersecurity companies here. They're going to call it the world's most critical software, and apparently some of these updates here are going to allow for AIs that are a little bit more self-critical. Interesting project. Again, as far as I can tell from the limited research that I've been able to do, this is, like I said, been out for about an hour. Some investors are saying CRWD could be moving higher, even though this is not its project, it's Anthropic's, because they're going to be part of the cybersecurity layer. So that appears to be the reason for CRWD moving higher, guys. Worth noting, they were also not one of the original companies I was seeing being listed as part of this project. Back to you.
As Adair was going, we got a major headline right there, and it was that there's been messages passed back and forth between Iranian mediators and the U.S. So we did get a. Neil's like, what's going on? I was like, I'm just watching the cues, and I could see the violence spike again, which is why we're not just going to stop out randomly. But when that came right back in, I took another fill. Because this is what we're dealing with. I'm not going to just sit here and get stopped out on those kind of moves. If it comes, I will get stopped out, but if it does come back in, let's take a little bit more off. So we just take another couple percentage points off right there, and we're getting lighter and lighter in the TQs. And you noted how crazy USO was.
Well, it was, I just had USO up. And all that happened was USO we were just talking about it cruising into VWAP here. And the next thing I know, it's at 140, 150. And then in the blink of an eye, it's down at 140.50. But the more important thing is, what is the reaction when you have that liquidity vacuum? The first thing, it gets snapped back up, and now it's heading higher. So, there it is. The exchange of messages with the U.S. mediators is still ongoing, gives no detail. I feel like all that's happening is they're just dropping liquidity. Get a headline, and the algos stop making the bid ask. So if anybody, when that happens, is hitting short or punching out of a long, whatever, if they're hitting the bid in that moment, well, there is no bid as it's coming out, and you get these crazy topping tails, and then immediately the market gets made again, and you're back to normal. It's really tricky. If you were trading USO and you happen to be long in this trend up, well, you just got stopped or trailed out. And there's just nothing you can do about it in that situation. Because what are you going to trade USO without a stop this afternoon? That seems crazy. But if we bust VWAP here, I can't imagine we're going anywhere but down if the reaction is to buy it back up. So anyways, my only new trade was this trend down on Intel. Whoops, I don't know why am I double bidding the same price. There we go, from the highs. And then it had held that trend. So scalp, and then the next level down will be like 51.40 to 50 or so, as this market continues to react to all of these headlines. And there's, like I said, there is not much you can do. Like if you're a USO trader or whatever it might be, there's no such thing as a free lunch, and you can't protect your downside in a trade without stops and without trailing stops. Just understand this is the life that you're living. Because it was immediately back fine. And then there we go again. We just had another random 40, 50 cent spike when it was at VWAP. And that's not really a lot of shares transacting. It's just pulling of the bid, right? It's just people that are, I shouldn't say people, it's the algos refusing to make a market for a minute. And back when you had more human market making, this kind of thing didn't happen as often. Because human market makers aren't as quick to pull the bid when any random headline comes. Unfortunately, that was one of the side effects of more algorithmic trading, which, there's ways to take advantage of it, of course. If you were fast enough to smash that bid, or if it extends way too far, traders can take advantage.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why we talked about getting back, once that pulls back in, we get out of the queues there at 60s and now it's in the 80s. So you got to take advantage of those plays. So I love the chat. There's no doubt about that, but sometimes it gets me going. We talked about Oscar at 1270, right, here today. And guess what? I didn't even look at Oscar as much as obviously I should have. Here's Oscar today. The low of the day is 1271 right there. So we missed the bid on OSCR right there at 11. Right when we left the show is when Oscar was coming right into the bid that we had posted. And again, the reason why we posted up that bid was because, and I canceled the order, so I'm not in it. But I was just telling you guys, I just want to show you the story because we did one of those lessons the other day. This is the pre-market lows. So it's just we got a good story there with Oscar and with Medicare, Medicaid, and it came right back. So not only is it the pre-market lows, it also matched with yesterday's sort of closing prices as well. So there it is in the pre-market, hovering. So these are the levels that we wanted to look at, and there it comes right into their 70s. So there's the very bottom. And look, I could have said 75. You know, it doesn't, you're just picking and choosing at this point. The best thing to do is to watch the stock and see how it's reacting when it comes down there. Then you can put your stop a couple pennies lower, and then there it goes, man, all the way back up to the upside, giving you a nice little 50-cent winner if you had that fill. But yeah, Oscar up 1.26% into market. That seems to be going southbound. What's up, Adara?
Keep an eye here on Adobe. ADBE just spiked to new lows of day after X announced a new photo editor that you can have when you compose your post. Now, this is going to be a competitive product, of course, to Adobe. The stock did spike lower on that. Again, X, formerly known as Twitter, looks like it's launching a competitive product to ADBE. Back to you.
And as Sean mentioned it, by the way, like I know we're talking about the markets and we're giving ideas. If we're going through a lesson, or maybe
they must like that picture of me over there. I got it going on twice over there.
Sean was referencing this, the 3 most important levels that we mark every single day. How not to take a trade, midday reversals, stop buying the top. Of course, today we were talking about what makes a stock truly strong, gap ups, don't trade the open, fake breakouts. We're going to keep doing this so that we have more content for you. So you can go back when you're on the train home. I take the train, so I'll use that example. Or maybe it's like you're brushing your teeth and you want to...
Maybe you're on the treadmill.
Yeah, you could be on the treadmill. There you go.
You know. Maybe you're cooking dinner. Maybe you're waiting for your daughter to fall asleep and you're looking.
Or maybe you're sitting through Amazon ads because they have these 15-minute ads so you can watch one show and you want to learn something about the market.
Maybe your daughter was watching the show and she's wondering, like, hey, Dad, like, should I be buying the tops of, you know, and you could show them these you know.
Always buy the high and sell at the lows.
Something like that, you know. And but yeah, thanks to Ramin and the whole team for doing that. And you guys can go definitely have a look. And we're gonna try to put out some more little small, you know, smaller form, you know, 5-minute or so, little brief trading, what to do and not to do, and all that kind of stuff, and sort of hand you guys the playbook that we are looking at there. So. Yes, all right, so those lessons of the day there. And Neil has his lessons of the day every day at noon.
The Amazon 15 minutes. They are pretty long, though.
What, Amazon or those lessons?
Amazon's. What was you don't have ads on Amazon?
Oh, I don't. Oh, that's the funny thing. I haven't watched anything on Amazon since we've had this discussion. So,
they're bad.
Are they bad?
Yeah, Amazon's
you know,
ads are I think the most egregious of all of the. I don't have ads on Netflix. So I can't really make the comparison, but
there must be some
I have
stats
Crave and Crave. You guys don't have Crave in the States. Whoa!
Amazon
what just happened, USO? Again, they just did it again in US.
Yeah, this is the thing about stopping out of all these things, man.
So
it's there's going to be another story coming in just a couple minutes. So I'm going to take another piece out here at 94 if I'm able to do it. Breaking through VWAP. We said the 50 period might be something. We just ran it. So right now I'm less than 10% left on this. I'm actually going to take out again. You know, we nailed this trade. You know, from the high of the day, virtually right here. I mean, it's the high of the day, right into VWAP and lower and covering like 20 or 30% of our trade underneath. Like for me, this is a big dub. So we're gonna do that. We just got another piece out there as well on the move down. I guess I can cancel my 42.50s right now. I don't know if that's gonna come into play again. We were waiting for a little bit lower and it looks like it's trying to break out. Let's put our new stop here because we're not trying to, you know, it doesn't matter. If whatever the story is, the story is. If we get stopped out, we get stopped out. And then that's that. So here we go, man. We're going to get stopped out at 43.06. And that's that. So there you go. Stop in, and it'll be a good day overall if we can take that stop. And that's the TQs. And you just looked at oil. We can see if gold is doing anything as well right now. Gold, 429, relatively flat. Let me check on that big runner, AIXI. With big shout out to my guy Joe over there again. Let's go bang for Joe. That was a good move there. 250 to 260, nice play. Not really doing too much right now, AIXI. Didn't we see yesterday, though, the story of AMC? What was going on there? This was from Monday.
I think technical dollar bounce because of the weekend ball.
Okay, maybe. Because we saw that there was, I don't know, I don't think Adara was able to find stories yesterday on this, so maybe. Oh, yeah, that's right. You weren't here yesterday. Right. So
no, we didn't find anything.
We didn't find anything, but AMC did have a big move to the north side there, probably breaking $1, we thought.
There actually was some news. So apparently the reason, or at least what I was seeing attributed to AMC's strength yesterday, they apparently had a record Easter weekend. So that was the Monday that came right off what was apparently a very strong Easter weekend with more than 6 million guests attending AMC and Odeon locations from April 1st to April 5th. It's also apparently their highest Wednesday to Sunday attendance through any period this entire year.
There you go. So even with oil prices and all that, I mean,
Super Mario.
I was just talking about like how people might not go to theaters.
I have to go to that.
And yeah, we went to see the first Super Mario. It was really funny. My kids like Jack Black and how funny he is in that movie.
I think we're going on Sunday.
Jack Black is just nailing all the kids' movies, man. Minecraft, he's nailing, making all the money on Super Mario.
You put someone in there that like, oh, the parents are like, okay, well,
he's so relatable for kids because he just acts like a fool.
And he's got the, but he's got the voice, and we recognize him. And you throw in some songs in these kids' movies that the parents from
we're missing something here.
No, but like
the market,
we're absolutely tanking.
No, tanking. Oh, in oil.
Oh,
yeah, the market.
No, USO is tanking as we speak. Like that was, I actually just punched out of Intel, and the second that happened, immediately into that battle stock. It's like, well, you got to jump back into this.
Oh, Pakistan.
Back into the lows because we have a Pakistan headline here. If we can throw it up, let's go to Adara.
Here's the news here coming from Pakistan. Prime Minister of Pakistan reportedly saying that their request from they're requesting that President Trump extend the Iran deadline for 2 weeks. So again, Pakistan's prime minister reportedly requesting that President Trump extend his Iran deadline by 2 weeks. So again, they're basically saying, don't have the Strait of Hormuz deadline tonight at 8 p.m. for it to reopen, extend it by 2 more weeks. That's, again, coming from the Prime Minister of Pakistan, who further said that diplomatic efforts, I guess, between Iran and the U.S. are progressing. We know Pakistan's often the intermediary between the U.S. and Iran. Back to you.
So remember 10 minutes ago when there was that little liquidity spike where the bid all of a sudden the algos were not making a bid, and then it went right back into VWAP? 10 to 15 minutes before this headline hits, okay, right? Like this is exactly why people are like, well, somebody here might have known something to pull the bid and pull the rug, but USO is now in the red, decidedly so in the red here. So this is we're headline to headline, only 40 minutes to go. Shocker. That the market looking a little bit better. There's no
We already
chance
said this would happen.
Before you got to 8 o'clock. I know this morning was like, well, when would it be? It always made a little bit more sense in the afternoon. You could have thought it could have been midday, but getting to, when you have that kind of a threat, getting all the way to 8, nobody wants to see that happen. Nobody, without any kind of progress. So, this is obviously going to be seen as good news. Oil prices go down. Market is going to, whatever. The market's going to go higher. I just want to quickly see what Apple's doing. Okay, good. I just want to make sure that, if you like it, you want it to react positively to this.
Look, honestly, I should have shorted that. I mean, I sat here as that story was coming. I was letting, obviously, Adair read it. I mean, we need to know the story. I just, under my breath, I was basically saying, who cares? Like, obviously, Pakistan, everybody in the region wants none of this. So I would be completely surprised if this guy, Pakistan PM Sharif there, was like, yeah, we're cool with this happening at 8 p.m. Like, obviously they want an extension over there. They're the ones trying to get in there and mediate between the two. So I say that's an awesome headline, but honestly, who cares? This has to come from President Trump or Hegseth or somebody that has officially pushed this through. Like, I think everybody in their right mind wants an extension. I think Trump wants an extension. I mean, I think everybody involved wants this to be over with, right? And the Hormuz, the Strait to open back up. So, we're obviously not in the war room. We're just reacting to stories. But what a surprise. You want to talk about the market being rigged. Unbelievable. On a story there right off the open, that's the high. On the Apple story right there, that's the high. These are even on separate stories. We're all getting hit up here to 43.70. So I think there's somebody, and what I mean by rigged is not like, oh my God, this market's, rigged to the exact penny, but there's someone up here selling that doesn't.
This is big order.
Yeah, that doesn't believe this. And so, everybody can have their own opinion, but someone's up here stopping these moves, and I can't see it. I mean, even if you look at the futures, it's not like there's going to be a wall here, but you can see it stop. So Pakistan urging a U.S.-Iran ceasefire. Obviously, it's best for the region. It's best for everybody involved. And let's just hope that eventually comes through. That's my opinion, and I don't know if it's anybody else's, but everybody wants safety, I would think. So that's that, and there it goes, man. TQ's upside. Quickly check on the dollar. I would expect that to get stronger right here, and there it is. So starting to go. We do have a move down right there, and you can see it starting to battle back. So there's the dollar getting stronger, of course, as hopefully the markets will react kindly to that note. and the US dollar strengthens. Remember, weak US dollar is great for the NASDAQ and great for multinationals as they repatriate that money back. So there's the weak US dollar. That's what we're looking for in a strong market. And then just now, as the markets come back in, you see so does the dollar comes back
VIX
up.
barely moved.
So yeah, the VIX, well, because not that big of a move, man.
Yeah.
We're just overreacting because we're
still
day
at the
traders.
highs. The thing that gets me is like the VIX is on the cusp of breaking out. And I'll
that
say this
was 40 cents.
If you're a blue ocean trader, you've got to be geared up. Just absolutely geared up for tonight.
So the market's now almost lower than.
Because we could see VIX 30 tonight, and it's like it's just cresting and waiting and waiting and waiting. But it was that's a weird one. Like I'm the only reason I'm saying that about like 10 minutes ago on USO is out of nowhere before you had the biggest volume spike event. It was like a mini bid drop, and then the larger one happens right as it's on VWAP, right as it's making the lower highs. Maybe somebody didn't, like someone was maybe trying to get short and didn't have their whole position. But if we make another leg down here, like you pull back into prior lows, if we make another leg down to maybe retest, oddly enough, hey, look at where we bottomed out. Kind of where the key levels were yesterday at the 139 level. If we retest the 139, I respect that as a bit of a bottom. That makes a little bit more sense to me. You got a new range now. It was 141.5 to 140. To like 140. Now I'm thinking 140 into the 139. So if it bounces there, then as far as I'm concerned, battle is an exit at that point. For now, I'm going to hold it till the low of the day. Because if we're making a new range bottom and we're just going to sit in that range for the next 30 minutes, then I think it should be respected. Going to pull up the early look on the imbalances. Wouldn't be surprised if you saw some energy names at the close, but maybe you won't. Who knows? Early look on Ford. Stock we haven't talked about in a long time. $3 million to the sell side early for Ford. AT&T 1.2, nothing too crazy. Bros, there's a stock we don't talk about very often. 800,000 early buy. Uber early look sell and balance of 800,000 on Uber. Ooh, yuck, Uber. Where are we at? 71 still. Yeah, Uber's not all that close to the breakout that I want to have happen. And it's not a traditional break, but I'm just. Anytime I see a stock respect the moving average this much, it just makes me want that breakout trade here in Uber. But it's not close, probably a couple of days away of green to go. It's not Uber's fault. If not for all of I think Uber would have already gone if it wasn't for some of this market sentiment and volatility and weakness. It made a double bottom, had a decent bounce. It's just the market's not following through enough for it to make this breakout of the 50 period. I just feel like this is a stock that's come back pretty decently and looking to break trend. Doesn't even have to go all the way to the high. Just a break of that 75, just to even get into 85, feels like it's on the cusp.
I'm going to start a new position here. It's going to be Robinhood. Okay, so Robinhood's down more than the market. It just made a huge move from basically bouncing off VWAP. Like, what a great long. I mean, to have seen that this was happening down there would have been one thing. Obviously, we're already right in the money here on this. We should take something out at 76 if we can get it. All right, so we're short at 86. So just pushing right back into this area. This is the only reason I'm bidding is because we're right into this area. There you go, we get it. Right into this area again. And what I noticed was, I spy with my little eye, a top. And right into there, we already made this top. We just spiked up, obviously, on some volatility there. And now we'll just wait to see if the volatility comes out and the market realizes that that story was not too much. 69.10 is going to be my stop. So we'll try to give this thing about 25 cents or so, see if that works. 65.10 stop here on Robinhood. Sure, Andre, let's go. We'll put that super chat up there. We got another one from our good friend over here.
Easy peasy with the 0.2%. Appreciate you like clockwork. Dig it. I rig it.
Ooh.
Not oil the wall on the street.
So he likes rig. Transocean? Is that what you're saying?
Well,
rig?
I don't know any other way. Unless you're talking about rigging the markets and you're not talking about Transocean, which is entirely possible and then it's pointless that I'm bringing up rig. Yeah, we were talking about order flow and algos manipulating the market at certain key price levels. So you could be talking about that, or you could be talking about Transocean, which has looked absolutely fantastic. I mean, it easily could be this as well. Energy at the highs. Oh, it's so tough. I just feel like this is, if you got it, then you hold it. Like I like CVX, or you could like XLE, or you could like a million of these. They're real tricky at some of these highs. I just feel like the risk, to a certain extent, at least in the shorter term, like if you're trading them, it's just so hard to like anything which has gone so parabolic so quickly. You could just reverse so fast. All right, whoa, okay. We're about to go to Sia for crypto, and I was about to look at Bitcoin.
Okay.
Let's go to the desk and come right back.
Definitely, you can take a look at the coin. Nothing major going on here, but BTC has, as we know it, been volatile, hitting 70K yesterday, but trading around $68,000 range at the moment. Yesterday, as we know it, again, it did hit the $70,000 mark. And I want to go check ETH right now. ETH currently around the $2,000 mark. And as we know it, Solana in the $80 region. Nothing major in crypto at the moment, but we do know that the US-Iran war and the conflict is and will be having some impacts on Bitcoin.
Well, it certainly is. But you know what? It's whatever it is, it can't seem to break 70. 70,000 on BTC. We're chilling out at 60. I'll do this, 68.6 or just underneath that. But we've had a couple of topping tail reversals, topping tail consolidation. I think we're getting another one in here with only about 30 minutes to go. Oh, wow.
We have another super chat there, €6. Hi, guys. Why don't you use we can get that up, the VWAP bands? I mean, that is the bands.
Oh, the bands on VWAP?
What, do you mean Bollinger bands?
Oh, no, there's a setting in VWAP where you can just have like the standard deviations similar to Bollinger Bands.
Yeah.
VWAP setting. I've never used it. I know you can.
Probably a good idea.
You know what? At some point, I'll be the first. Like I like trend lines. When I started, I remember it was a few. I don't know how long it was.
Yes.
I had a few too many indicators on my charts.
Yeah.
And I think eventually you just come down. It comes down to what you're comfortable with. And you know, I like having VWAP and I like having volume on there. And I've messed around with them before, but you just, whatever works for you. There's no right or wrong answer with what technical analysis you should use, what indicators are good or bad. If it works for you, then go ahead and do it. And if you like them, just keep using them as far as I'm concerned. You know, I'll never disrespect any indicator if it's working for somebody, even if I don't.
Yeah, so that was a story from a couple of days ago, I believe. Dara was talking about this. AIXA, their affiliate, won a $1 billion infringement. In the Supreme Court of China. Okay, so they have the agreement to receive whatever the payout is. So I don't even know really the whole business, what they're doing, what that's involved with. But Supreme Court of China, okay. Very interesting, needless to say, right there. All right, yes?
Yeah, sorry, because you were asking what their business was. I guess they are, quote, a leading developer of AI solutions, according to them. And this lawsuit update came last Tuesday, so it's over a week old. There's been no news since then, but I guess they are just basically saying that they're trying to continue to pursue Apple, or not them rather, but I guess one of their variable interest entity.
Okay.
Variable interest.
Okay, we are right now just, we hit Robinhood and we hit it pretty good. So there's a downside play there for Robinhood. You can see what prices I'm in at. We've got a good one here, I believe, anyways, in Robinhood. Hopefully some downside pressure. We're short at O's. Here it comes, man. Let's go, Robinhood. Bang! This is going to be a good one right now. I mean, we put on another trade right here. We're in the money now. Let's see, it's 25 cents. Our stop is 69.10s. So far, so good here as we get back a little bit on this trade for Robinhood. So there it is, the short into that. I'm actually out right now of 35%. And I was waiting for a little lower. Let me put another bid here at 74s. And then I was waiting in the 60s, basically right here. Good decade, down by the 25 period moving average or so. We just bounced off 71. We could take another fill. Look, I mean, this market is volatile. So if we can get a 2-to-1, which we have, then probably worth taking a little bit here. I'm actually going to punch out a little bit more. Oh, shoot. See, I just made that level at 82. Now all of a sudden people are joining me. So we'll see if we actually even get a fill here at 80. There it goes finally. So it's wedged through it. But very, very difficult sometimes to catch fills. The liquidity's great if you're hitting market orders or anything like that. But sometimes it won't necessarily fill you where you would like to be filled. So that's a good move there. We'll just sit on the bid. I'm at 74, so hopefully someone will run this down and we'll get filled at 74, and then the next one is 60s, and we'll see what happens there. But so far, so good there. It's a new trade there. Neil's back into battle in IBIT. Good story there on Bitcoin. Thanks, Sierra. See you there for the update over there. And we'll see if we can get Robinhood. Remember, we're bidding 74. Here it comes in, man. And there it goes. We grab that one as well. So we go
In honor of
Robinhood.
Ride it to the downside. Which
Yeah,
is,
shout out to Russell Wilson.
Or not. I don't know, whatever, man.
We talked about Kirk Cousins and the amount of money that guy made. I mean, Russell Wilson made a lot of money.
At least he won a Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah, he deserves it. They all deserve it. Whatever, man. Being an NFL quarterback.
The greatest quarterback in Michigan State history is Kirk Cousins.
Yep.
And all he does...
Is that saying much?
No, his agent is possibly the greatest agent.
That's the thing.
In terms of getting
like Joe's
contracts
agent.
for your client, no agent has done more. It's unbelievable how much this guy has gotten paid and guaranteed, and he hasn't even won in the playoffs. Congratulations. I don't even know the agent.
You like that? You like that?
Obviously legit. And dude, the chains, he's got the whole swag thing going. And the guy's gonna make a boatload like Brady as well.
Well, he just signed. He signed, I think it was $10 million.
Yeah, like he's locked and loaded. So USO's back to that 140. So it tagged the top. That's when I re-entered battle. And come on, Benzinga.
So what is that new ETF?
And then we got into that IBIT, which is off that lower high. So we're playing this back into VWAP just like last time, everybody. So as long as that happens, new ETF.
Yeah, someone in the chat there keeps asking, and I keep missing it because we're talking about other things here. Big Bobby Top. What's up, Big Bobby Top? Says, what's going on with the new ETF DRAM? I mean, look, everybody's going to, this is a round hill, what a surprise. There's an ETF about everything.
Usually
these days right now. So I would say the minute you start seeing an ETF, go with this. I mean, check out IBIT, these were literally the tops of everything. So DRAM, just a couple days ago, and I just asked, I just asked Gemini what's going on in there. I could have just gone somewhere else. Looks like here's what's actually inside the ETF. Looks like Samsung, 25%, Micron, 24%, SK Hynix, 24%, and that's it. And then it looks like 4 to 5% each across the board somewhere else. So Samsung, Micron, SK, all involved in DRAM. It seems like you might as well just buy the Korean...
Micron,
or just buy the Korean market, it seems like, with SK Hynix and Samsung.
The Korean market is just stocks.
Yeah.
That's completely pointless.
Yep.
But anyways, it's true. There's too many ETFs.
I think so too.
Too many.
But yeah, I would buy it if you like the space. I mean, I just told you what was in there, so it's an easy way to get a piece of, and I think that's part of it, right? We talked about what is it, the X? Oh man, what is the GL the ETF for South Korea? It's the one that was going literally. Some days you look and it's up and down 15% a day because it's those two stocks. So that's why I was going to say Samsung and SK. EWY. Yeah, that's what it is. Thank you, everybody in the chat. And if I just keep on rambling for long enough, someone will give it to us. The EWY. This is just an absolute crazy.
Most people
this is supposed to be an index. One day, 150 down to 130. You know, so
it's basically just you pull up the Micron chart. It's basically
no. That is what it is. It's those two stocks. But
with that, I think a lot of people would probably be more interested if they could get some SanDisk exposure if you're going to be an ETF like that. Sometimes it's just easier to pick the name. If it's that concentrated, just pick the name that you like.
Yeah, why pay someone to manage it for you?
Because you're not that diversified, so you might as well just pick the name you like the best. In that case, I think we're going back to it there. I just took some. We're bouncing.
It's like that MAGS ETF, MAGS, right? You know it's those 7. So if there's one you don't like, then you can go the other way.
You probably own them yourselves. We just had a topping tail in USO. Which whenever you see a candle like that, it's like, okay, we'll take something out because the market could turn a little bit here. But let's go to the desk. We have 10 minutes until the imbalances come out. So we're getting a little bit long in the tooth.
Right, I know. That's what I'm saying, yeah. You're right.
There's a lot here coming out of the Middle East in terms of explosions. Doha, Qatar reportedly, we have some explosions. Reportedly also hearing sirens in Bahrain. So you've got Bahrain and Qatar where there are some explosions being heard. I also want to unpack that Pakistan headline a little bit more. So again, we had the Prime Minister of Pakistan, Pakistan going on social media and saying that he is asking President Trump for a 2-week ceasefire and pause here, asking at least to extend that Strait of Hormuz deadline by 2 weeks, but saying that in turn, he would also like Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz for 2 weeks so that there's kind of a fair exchange, that they can take these time where no one is fighting anyone, they can get some kind of resolution here in the Middle East with Iran, with the Strait of Hormuz. He wants peace across the region. So again, update here with Pakistan and just a couple other headlines there in the Middle East. If there are more details, I will let you know.
All right, thanks, Adara.
Always, thank you, Adara. And
oh man, what's the market going to do in the last 20 minutes? And we only have 10 minutes now until imbalances. So thanks everybody for watching. Make sure you do hit the like and the subscribe. And if you're anywhere else tomorrow, then you're crazy because you should be right here. We do have the live market coverage for you starting at 8 a.m. So join us all at 8 a.m. and we'll go over, trust me, everything that happens tonight, and obviously market related, and hopefully we can see a up market tomorrow morning, because that means that it was probably somewhat successful on the night as far as peace. So we'll see if that winds up happening. Hopefully it does. And we are now only into 40% of Robinhood. And on that note, I'm going to try to bid again at 75. Maybe we get a fill there, and then we'll go down to 30%, and then we'll just run it after that. It will be a positive stock. We cannot unsee that. I'm actually going to punch a little bit out at 77 there, because there it is, man. We take the profit where the profit lies, and we said that we were going to sit at the 25 period moving average. That's exactly where we're at there. It started to mature up a little bit, right? So we have to be careful with what we're doing, but that's the fill that I'm looking for right now. A break into 68.50. If we get that, great. That's my next bid. So we'll wait, and then if we get stopped out, we get stopped out. I'm going to change my stop out rate to here, 69.03. So we're going to change that because we want to make sure that we capture all of the profit and not give too much back. 69.06. Let's just do that. I'll go offer, enter. And now, so this is like the most algorithmic trading that Neil and I will do here on the desk, and that is just to put in our orders. And once you put in these stop orders, I think this is another lesson that we can do. It triggers once a price shows up on here, X dark pools. So as long as it's a level 1 fill, then it will show up here, and that will trigger this out. So this needs to see a 69.06 fill. The minute that happens, it will send out a somewhat aggressive market order that we found out is 2.5% higher.
There's a trick you can use. This won't matter for like super expensive stocks, but like for anything that gets like less than $50 or less than 20 at real trading, you can actually set if you don't want to get wicked out just because it went above that, say you put it at like $20.25 is your stop order, so like 26. And you don't want it to wick above, basically have just a dark pool ticket and then you get out. You can actually set it so that it requires the midpoint to get above, meaning it just needs to actually break that level and then see the bid above that next price. It does mean you wouldn't want to use it on like a fast-moving stock because like it'll be that split second where it's breaking, you're gonna get a worse fill. But if it's a little tinier, like a Neo or something like that, and it's a tinier spread,
it's called the peg.
If you use that, use the peg instead. You will not get those bad wickouts if you're short at like $5.99 in front of 6, and it doesn't really break 01s. It's almost perfect for that. The ability at real trading to customize your trading experience, it's not ad for real trading, I'm just calling it like it is fantastic. And you really want things that are tailored to your individual strategies. Just with 9 minutes to go to the imbalances, very quickly, tightening up the stop and battle into under break even. If we get the low of the day, we get the low of the day. And Ford is still the only thing that looks interesting. I say that tongue in cheek because Ford at 3 million shares is probably not that interesting on the imbalance locator, but it's only done 30 million shares, so it is 10% of the day's volume into the early look imbalance. It's not moving much, and it tends not to move a lot. But if that comes out larger than 3, there could be something there on Ford. Like I said, Uber and GM are both there. I felt like there was somebody else, but I guess it must have gone. It's been a while since we've seen any of those Amex over 1 million. Like I haven't seen BM&R on this in a while. Maybe that could give it a little bit of a comeback. Just BIL. Is there over 1 million? I said I would start looking at any time an Amex names comes in there, we'd have a look at it at this. But it's like a 3-month T-bill ETF, so that's pretty useless. That BIL. Don't think that's going to qualify. Let's go up to the desk for Sia. We have 7 minutes till the imbalances, like I said, so maybe a couple of chances for a couple more fills before we get the last 10 minutes of imbalance trading. Sia.
Absolutely no worries, Neil. I'm going to wrap this up really quick. Just a quick update on money talks. The U.S. dollar is weaker against most majors today, with the broad USD weakness in trading. EU area economy is also showing slower momentum, with the latest update indicating that the Eurozone private sector growth has hit a 9-month low since March. And on the other hand, the FX markets are continuing to be driven by a couple of factors, as we know, such as geopolitical tension, energy, oil, Middle East conflict risk, and the USD's continued support as a safe haven. Now, some pairs just to watch out for. The USD JPY is still highly sensitive to risk sentiment and rate expectations. EUR USD vulnerable if Eurozone growth keeps fading, and USD CAD is also being influenced by oil prices and broad USD direction. Sending it back to you.
Yeah, you watch out for the dollar, obviously. I did take another piece out there on Robinhood, right around here, as it tried to go higher, and we took another piece at basically 85, so not a great fill there as we get a little, I don't want to say nervous is not the right word, but just taking it out because it's profit, and we want to make sure that we make some of that every once in a while. So that was a good one there. Okay, so that's Robinhood talk.
We have a super chat.
Oh, good.
I also want to acknowledge, I want to thank...
We talked about TTD.
I want to thank Nana on TikTok for the gift. We saw the gift. We appreciate you. We didn't have a message attached to your gift, so I can shout you out. But if you're in the chat and you have a couple of messages over there on TikTok, when you send a gift, we can show it up there. If you happen to have a question, that's fine.
Oh, more out on Robinhood.
But the thoughts on Trade Desk and Nike, well, we did have that poll, which will probably tell you my thoughts on Trade Desk. I'm surprised that there are 12% of people in our poll. I'll end the voting on it now. It's like you have to buy what we said, SMCI, Oracle, and Trade Desk. I thought Trade Desk would have 0 votes. It had 13%, and that only really happened after we were talking about trolling. So Trade Desk, broken stock with an uber disrupted business already, continuing to make fresh lows. As a matter of fact, it looks like a flat bottom break tomorrow. Shoot, this is a 52-week low break tomorrow through $20.50. That could actually happen tomorrow for a setup for a trade. So I think it's broken. It's a short till it's not. And if it catches a bid, great. Talk to me when it's above the 50-period moving average, which it has not been since October, and that didn't even last more than a couple of days. Nike is similar, although I feel better about at some point Nike catching a bid. They're not like the stock is broken, but they're not completely dead. They still do tons of revenue. They're just a little expensive still on the relative to their peers. And then when you miss on guidance and have all that uncertainty due to guidance, those are further problems as well.
Here we go.
We're getting another headline here. Senior Radiant official. Go ahead, let's go right to Adara.
So USO dropping here. We are getting reports from Barack Ravid, who is a CNN analyst and a Axios correspondent. Anyways, he's saying that Caroline Leavitt told him that President Trump has been made aware of a proposal from Iran and a response will come, or specifically Pakistan's proposal with regards to Iran. So I guess President Trump knows that Pakistan wants there to be some kind of pause. Apparently President Trump knows, and he's going to respond. So that's according to White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, as reported by Barack Ravid. Back to you.
Somebody just got destroyed.
There we go. So we didn't, USO moving, the market moving. There goes Robinhood. So just so you guys know, I didn't want to interrupt Neil, but we got some more out there at 85 when that was going. And then there's the break higher through. And that's why you stop out, because there's the move. And another positive name today, Robinhood. And we talked about only having 20% or 30% left. Took a couple more outs there. We probably had about 15% stopped out right there. So senior official right there saying that President Trump has been made aware of the proposal. And there it is. So 2-week ceasefire. And I think that's exactly what President Trump wants to hear. And I would not be surprised if right now that's accepted. So let's see what that happens. Because I assume that means ceasefire through the Strait. Right?
Well, if
that's part of it.
If it's not, if the Strait isn't opened up, then we already know the president's not happy.
Right.
So you've got to imagine that meeting the conditions for that agreement, I mean, that would be the assumption that I think a lot of people would make. So hopefully that is the good news. But somebody got absolutely rinsed on USO because there was a point where I saw the quote down at 130 and somebody got filled down there, and it was instantly, before you couldn't physically hit bid enter. It was at 134, like, oh, it was a bad snap, like that. I just failed to snap for the first time in my life. No, it was insane, the volatility. And at the end of the day, right when the bounce is about to come out, I feel like there's probably a little bit of market makers pulling and pushing. But with that kind of a move, it's like, yeah, get out of Dodge. We got enough close to the low to a battle to jump out of it. But I think that's good news. Hopefully no one got caught in that move. That's why you have stop orders. And yeah, that's all I can say. If you don't trade with stop orders, we talked about this, that minor stop out if you protected yourself there. And if you get frustrated if you were in that long, well, look what happens if you don't have stops and something even bigger happens. Let's go to Adara again.
Just going to recap some of the madness here in USO with these headlines. So we've now had both the US and Iran reportedly respond to Pakistan's calls for a 2-week extension or temporary ceasefire to kind of come to some kind of permanent agreement. We have got White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt reportedly saying that Trump knows about Pakistan's proposal and he's going to respond soon. Then we also had a senior Iranian official reportedly saying that Tehran is, quote, positively reviewing Pakistan's request for a 2-week ceasefire. So both the U.S. and Iran apparently considering extending their timeline here and potentially working towards a ceasefire, at least temporarily speaking. Back to you.
All right, man. I don't think we said Pakistan so much on this show. There might be just as much in the last 2 hours than we ever have in the last 6 years. So shout out there, and thanks to them for helping negotiate some of this.
Seeing as the answer would have been never on this show until this crisis.
I might have made it.
You think we ever? Nah.
Yeah, I mean once or twice. I mean, must have. Some sort of a story or something at one point. But okay, IBIT right back into the highs of the day. They did not take out the highs yet, though. So Bitcoin still struggling. Not struggling. It's had a nice move right there. But now here's the pullback, right? And so this is that sort of the ebbs and flows of the market. We do have the imbalance locator. I don't even have it up yet. Well, here it is right here.
Yeah,
so we can get that going. Just a couple of seconds. We'll see. My imbalance locator does look different. I'm on a new version where they don't show the extension here. So that's Ford, Verizon, SoFi, Apple. Wow, all buys. There's Apple, get up to 353, nice move there. SoFi, we didn't look at that much today, holding 16, nicely done there, SoFi. NVIDIA with the buy as well, so there's a nice move higher. And this is why it's very tough, to be into the futures or anything right now. It's not moving, but this is what happens. Sometimes you get huge discrepancies and it'll just come like a monster buy or a monster sell. Looks like it's pretty muted today. But yeah, there's NVIDIA, nice move up to 177. I said the best trade around might just be that NVIDIA long. Every time it touches down into 170, back up to 177 there is NVDA. 350, 10 minutes left. Wow, what a day, man. Oh my God. If I was a drinker, I'd go home and have one because this has been quite the move. Down 0.2 right now is the NASDAQ. What a recovery, man. It looked like it was all shot, right down early. There's the open and boom, all the way down. I think we're down 1.2% at one point. Nice to be all the way back up and taking out those pre-market levels right now.
Chance to go green.
I think it does go green.
I mean, you're within 0.2% of going into the green.
ES is almost.
It's an unbelievable rally. And then the ES is almost certainly at this point going to get green. You throw in the fact that, Apple, the turnaround even just in Apple alone was impressive enough. Like, especially if that story ends up not being true. But the complete insanity that we get that V-shaped recovery and what everyone knew was going to be a pretty volatile day. I think we end the day a little bit different from some expectations. So good news here for basically everybody. It's going to go down the line here because I know we've been talking about Tesla. Tesla's not going to go green, but Tesla gets most of the move back. It's not a complete V-shaped recovery, but well above VWAP, only 2% down on Tesla. I know, I kind of...
Better than 4.
Yeah, 2, that's exactly right. 2% down is better than 4% down is a great way to look at it. We were talking about Uber, and Palantir was a name that we didn't really get to. What did that do? High of the day. Palantir's up 1.5%.
Boom.
Palantir's going to close today holding the 50-period moving average.
That's my man. Right,
so you've got another hold of the 50. Let's just do more than bounce here to get to the 200. I like this for a continuation play. That 150, it's at 150, but technically the breakout's not till 150.5 tomorrow morning on PLTR. The issue is I don't see any way that if it's up, it's probably gapping this level overnight because the night's looking like it's going to go the right way, especially at 8 o'clock. So in that particular case, you might find some of these stocks, instead of taking a clean breakout, which would be nice, you're looking tomorrow at having to play some kind of a continuation play. But Palantir looking good over the 150. Might have trouble closing.
Sorry, go ahead.
It's right at like 149.90 to 150 and a quarter. So it might have some trouble breaking 150 at the end. So there might be a chance that we can still get this tomorrow for a clean breakout trade.
What I was going to say is Palantir is a funny stock because I think it wins in a lot of situations.
Yeah,
it's a big NASDAQ stock, so if the market goes up, it has a crazy beta. It can market up 2%, Palantir could go up 5%. But then it also has the defense aspect as well, to the point where I thought that murmur could have been from Palantir. So, yeah, very interesting name. And this is, I think, you know what, DJK, I think you're probably on to something. And hold on a second here. Where can I find? Oh, it's not. I don't even see it on here to put it up. But you just said this is. Oh, here it is, right here. Kick the can down. And I think this is what it's like right now. I don't know. We'll have to wait to the response tonight. But you know, a 2-week ceasefire, that's a lot. Hopefully we can get some negotiations going on in 2 weeks. That would make a lot of sense. But it might just be exactly that. Are we just sort of delaying the inevitable here, where Iran does not agree to anything?
There were certain situations where, like, I understand kicking the can down the table. When politicians kick the can down the table when it comes to like government spending or like some kind of a spending bill or whatnot, or whatever other problem it might be, fair enough. But if you're talking about like kicking the can down the road
on
for
humanity,
something this big, where you're talking about an invasion, yeah, I think you'll take that. And I think the markets will certainly take that, because it's the alternative is so much worse. Like, it's just, the alternative is such a bad event. Extended high oil prices, oil at 170, the kinds of things that were coming out of some bank executives' mouths you would have heard if this goes the wrong way are pretty extreme. It's almost certain recession if we saw those kinds of spikes in oil. If you got past the middle of April without the Strait open, people were talking about recession, and they were talking about 150 to 170 oil. So kicking the can down the road isn't the end of the world here from a market perspective. I think it's more than positive, but you know, it is what it is. I think we just sort of have to try to be as reasonable, as rational as we can be. All right, there weren't any real big imbalances to revert, but Intel popped up. I think that grew a little bit to get to 1.6 million to buy. And man, that's right. We started the day with an Intel positive news story that we didn't even mention once in the afternoon. Intel with a partnership.
We definitely mentioned it once.
Oh, we did at least once in the video, which you go back and watch when we're done here. In the evening when you're on the.
You can go right now. You can go right now if you want.
Whatever you want to.
It's fine.
No, but you saw you shaking hands with Elon.
Hi, Juan.
Partnering with XAI.
Yeah, how long until football season starts again? I mean, this is what I'm looking at.
Dude, the draft is in 2 weeks.
I know. I'm excited for the draft to see. I guess Mendoza's going one.
The NFL is genius in that they're never out of the news cycle. They're never outside of the news cycle. There's always something that they're capturing. They win that way.
I mean, they need to have the draft anyways, right? I mean, that's where Kirk Cousins went. He went to the Raiders to back up Mendoza, or maybe start.
Apparently they're talking like they want him to start for a bit.
Oh, who, Cousins?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I was just going to say that. Give him 5-6 weeks, and then let Mendoza, figure it all out, and then get going there. I don't know how good Mendoza is going to be. Do you have opinions on that?
I think this is one of the
enough?
worst quarterback drafts in a long time. He's pretty good. He seems like more of a middle of the road quarterback than anything else. Like, he looks like he can be good enough to start, but I don't see any. Like, he doesn't have the. Like, here's an example. If people don't think Herbert's elite, like, Justin Herbert is way more talented than. I don't even think it's close.
What?
Mendoza. Yeah, Herbert's a way better quarterback than
yeah.
Gonna be.
Yeah, I would say that. But I don't know.
Most people wouldn't consider Herbert an elite quarterback.
Thank you, Green Day Dean. Right there, I believe we do have great coverage today. You thought today's coverage was great.
Wait till you see
tomorrow's coverage. Tomorrow's coverage will be over and above all the other days of coverage that we've had. Ooh. So you have to make sure that you are back here tomorrow.
Oh, setting that bar high.
Yeah, man. Every show is better than the last.
Actually, that's a motto around here. The whole idea is to make it's always improving. The visuals get better. The education gets better.
It's almost summertime. You get those glasses going on.
There you go. That's what I want to hear.
Joe gets better.
I want to hear the.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, man, that's what I'm trying to say, right? I mean, it's just like, we're glad to have Adair back. We've got Sia learning the ropes now as well. So, we're pretty excited about the team and about what we're offering to everybody here. Completely for free. All the information that you got is right in front of your fingertips. We got videos posted. Go over to YouTube. Thanks to Ramin and everybody over there pushing those videos out for us. Instagram. Shout out to TikTok. We're on there live. YouTube tried to get rid of us a couple weeks ago. Says Stone Cold over there. We're back, baby. All Although I shouldn't say to YouTube. Yeah, whatever you want, YouTube. You're right. So we'll just make
Love
sure.
YouTube.
Yeah, you guys are by far the best.
Don't kick us off.
Yeah, exactly. What am I even doing? Okay, so let's just go on to some other topic right now. You mentioned about having stops, right? And remember I told you that this was the automatic stop there on Robinhood? I mean, look, like this saves your whole day. I mean, it does it. I didn't have enough risk on to lose the day. But at the end of the day, you want to make sure you're out of some of these trades. And look, you want to know a stock that's going ham right now? Shout out to Meta. Meta is going off right now from 565 at 3 o'clock, up $10. Booyaka. What up, Adara?
What's up, guys? Is the NASDAQ here. Keep an eye on the market as we get comments from President Trump to Fox News, reportedly speaking, I guess. Again, he reportedly commented on that 2-week proposal to extend this Iranian power plant attack. We know that was proposed by Pakistan. President Trump reportedly said that he cannot comment as to whether or not he will agree with Pakistan's offer because right now they're in heated negotiations. So we know that we had White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt saying that President Trump would respond. As right now, Trump himself saying that because the negotiations are heated, he cannot currently comment. Back to you.
Well, here's a story right here. Yeah,
when the
what Adara read there.
When the alternative is mass destruction, then yeah, it would be heated discussions. But so far, so good. Although, remember when we got that massive dump in USO? It came all the way back. Somebody actually hit 130 15 minutes ago on this, and it's right back to 138. The volatility is not going anywhere because tomorrow it's going to be the same thing, and Blue Ocean's probably going to be absolutely wild tonight. So good luck if you happen to be doing that. I can imagine a world where a Blue Ocean trader isn't excited about tonight. Let's close the market with our fake bell. Ding, 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 ding.
It's a real generated bell. All right, so the NASDAQ does finish green, although the bell just rang. So that's tight. I don't know exactly where it was at 4 o'clock, but it was pretty close. So we'll say congratulations and awesome. Yeah, I'd say that was pretty close.
The NASDAQ was the ES. The ES.
I have both up. They're both zeros. They're both zeros right now. So I don't know what it was literally 20 seconds ago, but it was pretty close. We did get a little bit of a dip down. Remember, those market on closing balances will hit, and then it will fluctuate a little bit with the NASDAQ or the indexes. So, but anyways, congratulations if anybody bought those lows. Nice move down in. Okay, man, 8 o'clock tonight. Stay tuned for that one. I imagine just momentarily you'll get an agreement from President Trump that this will extend out. That's what I'm thinking. That's what the market seems to think. Right now.
The USO maybe where the liquidity came back in gives you a bit of an indication. When everyone was freaking out, 130 was the bottom. So if you're trading tonight, lock that one away. That's where the market makers stepped in. So when we get good news, maybe that's where they step in again.
Yeah, so good luck to everybody. Good show there today. I think we did have good coverage, better coverage tomorrow coming. Thanks to Dara for everything. It's great to have you back, obviously, as many people in the chat are loving having Adara back. So unfortunately, but she deserves more vacation days. So that's, it's like a catch-22.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you got to take time off.
But all right, so everyone have a good one. It's 4:01. Pay attention tonight. Blue Ocean's open, and best of luck to everybody's positions. And hopefully it's a relatively calm evening, and we can come in tomorrow and trade those markets once again for you. That's Neil. That's Adara. I'm Sean. Thanks, Joe. He's over here as well. Thanks, Andre, Fabian, Ramin, Brendan today. Thank you to all of our guests. Medicus came through on the midday. Thanks to Dara. That was a great interview. And tomorrow, Raheem? Anyone join us tomorrow morning? We'll have our guest and we'll talk more about the markets then. So, all right, ciao, everybody. Be well.